I'll get you guys to talk. We'll just test this stream.
There's no you guys, it's just me.
I'll get you to talk.
Fuck, good luck stopping me.
I'll get you guys to talk. We'll just test this stream.
I'm talking.
It's just me.
I already said that, mate. Shut up.
the flick of the tongue. She made her scream, she made her laugh, she made her dance. She was happy for the first time, and you know she wanted more. Now with the legs spread wider, she needed to have Louise inside her. She said, I'll never forget the first time you kissed me. Now I want you to fix me. Louise didn't need a second invitation. She knew just what to do. Yeah, she knew just what to do. I've had come a few times before, but she had never even seen the door into the world of pleasures of the flesh. She felt just like 16, and her life before now was a dream, or even a nightmare that's over and done. Just like warm evening rain shining from the sun. They make her beam, they make her laugh, they make her dance. She was happy for the first time, and you know she wanted more. You know she wanted more. You know she wanted more.
Everyone else has had more sex than me. Everyone else has had more sex than me. Everyone else has had more sex than me. Does anyone else get that feeling? Teenagers naked, couple in threes, grandparents swing from the ceiling. Everyone else has had more sex than me. Everyone
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, just waiting.
It's lights out and away we go. It's a great start from Sebastian Vettel. Wing up the inside. McLaughlin gets it to They run, but the Red Bull Racing man has got through. The champion's done the job. They're all gone. They're all gone. Tander's off. McLaughlin's off. Make room. Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. There's another 7-time champ. Jimmy Johnson wins his 7th NASCAR Sprint Cup championship.
Hello and welcome to the Short Shift Podcast broadcast of the Automobilist Australia Rookie Cup at Sandown, my favourite track going around out there. We are here for round 3 of the Rookie Cup, and I'm joined tonight in the commentary booth by the man with the mo, as always, Matt Scruff Williams. How are you, buddy?
Well, thanks, Brock. A bit lost for words with all the excitement for this race.
We always get fired up, mate. So,
I'm just keeping the enthusiasm going.
As always, Scruff, as always. It's always hard to mellow you out. We might have to do something about that moving forward.
Well, there's a few options, but they're unbroadcastable.
This is it. We have a minute and a little bit left of practice. So far, it's Matt Devine setting the pace with a 125.723. Lewis Wedding's in there.
Matt Devine is outrunning Lewis at the moment, which is, given that Lewis is the driving coach for this series, that's, well, he probably won't be back.
I've raced with Matt a couple of times, Matt Devine, and he's doing okay. He's pretty quick, so I think it wouldn't be long before we'll be looking to promote him, or for Series 2 we'd certainly be looking at promoting him pretty quickly, I'd say.
Any time we've got a Matt up the top, I'm pretty happy.
Oh, fair enough. Lewis is second at the moment. He's out there trying to show these rookies how it's done. Cam Rutledge should be quite happy with 126.0, I'd imagine. He's been seeking some coaching on the Automobilist Australia page, and I think it's working for him at the moment. Christopher Field, 126.096. Those two are exceedingly close. Brendan Ross, he's done a 126.479. David Keane, 126.529. Alex Warrington, 126.865. Luke, 126.986, struggling with the bumps, I'd say. Gary Neville, 127.5, so there's a fair gap there. Aussie, 126.8. Brian Walsh, 128.8. Shane Witt, 129.330. Connor Dean, 129.6. He'll be looking to get a little bit more pace out of that thing. And Glenn Myers, new guy on the grid, joined the group recently. Still finding his feet out there right now, the 131.1.
For Glenn, that's I'm actually very impressed with that, because he was, during one of the practice sessions for GT3, he told us that he doesn't actually have FFB with his wheels, so to be that, well, within about 100 seconds of Lewis Wedding and Matt Devine at the moment is without FFB is quite impressive.
It's actually not too bad, especially with how bumpy this circuit is, Scruff. You and I have raced here a couple of times with the AMS, our Super Series, and we haven't been to the supercars here yet, but
no, we had the Legends race here, I believe.
Oh yes, we did. Forgot about that.
When I completely forgot to install real feel and looked like an amateur. That
would have been feeling massively backwards, I'd say.
Instead of the wheel trying to straighten itself, it just tried to turn further. So it was a fun night.
So it's actually on that mod, I guess news around that mod. We may as well be the newscast for Automobilist Australia while we do this broadcast, mate, I think.
We know as much as anyone else, and we run
it, so we know.
I've dropped me remote, I'm sorry, it's all fallen a bit early.
Good one. The Legends series, the Bathurst Legends, they have had a massive update, so next time we do a race in those, and after you've installed it, you won't have to reverse your real film, mate. It will be good to go from scratch. So
definitely looking forward to getting out in them again, because they were a good challenge and they were a lot of fun once you did start to get your head wrapped around them. So it'd be good to see them back, even if it is just for the one-off races that we've made time for.
Yeah, fair enough. Radio. So we're on board with Topher as he sets out in his laps. A few cars out on the the track at the moment. Just while we're waiting for these guys to cycle up, we do have a special short shift treat. I took the time out of my week to do a lap around here and just to show you the lines from the driver's eye view, so and do the Peter Brock commentary method as I went around, mate. So we might just show you that now, and then we'll come back, okay?
Sounds good to me.
Welcome to Sandown and the Automobilist Australia Rookie Cup. You're here with Brock Harvey at Brock Harvey 29 as we do a lap of this place and hopefully do an okay job of showing these guys how it's done. Fastest way around Sandown is to utilise the Peter Brock straight, which we're coming up now, and the back straight. Also use the bumps around here. Sandown is notoriously bumpy, so use the bumps to your advantage as where you can. Grandstand on the right, what we're looking for is the 100-metre board. Hit the brakes hard, pull down 2 gears into third, try and hit that curb. Get on the power as early as you can. I missed the curb there a little bit. Grab in fourth now. Look for the apex, hit third, then hit second for the second part of the chicane. Grab that curb as much as you can, the car will ride it nicely. Hard on the brakes, into second. Get on the power now, hold it up to the wall, and just hold it and pin it flat. So coming at the back straight, this will take an eternity in the Lancer. We'll top out about 180, 190k as we make our way up the hill towards turn 6. Turn 6, massive bump in the middle of this corner, so what we want to do, pull it left, brake, grab it down the gear, try and hit the curb, hold it left, don't hit that bump, get back on the bow, hit that curb. Brake hard, do not get off that brake till you hit the apex, get straight back on the power. Use the exit curve, pull up, you'll pull up into fourth through here. Look for the tyre marks on the road, brake hard, last big stop, hit third, hit the curb. Ooh, hit it a bit hard. Let's go into second, pull it back on, get on the power. Pull up back through the gears. And that, guys, is a lap of Sandown for the AMS Rookie Cup. Back to the commentary booth and good luck to all the rookies tonight.
Also, that's Scott Nolan.
Cool. So there we go, there's a hot lap of Sandown, or a medium hot lap of Sandown. I'd like to welcome Lewis Wedding into the booth. Lewis, you did a 125.7, so I think we can call your lap a hot lap as opposed to my 126.1.
I did get topped by, I think, Matt Devine in that session, so he's pretty handy around here. Although I kept stuffing up my laps, and on the hottest lap I did, or hottest sectors I did, I could have gone about 8 tenths faster, but just couldn't put it together. It's a tricky little track, this one, in these cars. Yeah,
no, I noticed that as well, because there's so much lock you can apply into these things that they fight you a little bit. So we're currently on board with Brian Walsh at the moment. Just for record, Matt Devine has gone fastest. He's done a 126.1. Topher's currently second fastest with 126.2. Brendan Ross 127.1 in third. Let's see what Brian Walsh can do out here at the moment, though.
Be good to see Topher get another good result. He's done very well so far, and he's been up there whenever he hasn't had bad luck early on like he did last time out.
Yeah, for sure. Topher is Porsche, not almost runs wide at turn 9 there. Topher was really quick in the Super Series on Thursday as well. He was faster than me in qualifying. Had a bit of a rough race, but he's coming good, I reckon. So maybe looking forward to a Season 2 promotion for Topher.
Well, certainly, he's certainly been on the up. Obviously, in this series, he's done pretty well. Obviously, in the Porsches, didn't go so well in the races, but I think that's a learning curve for these guys. Obviously, against people that are similarly paced, in a faster series, it can be quite tough coming from obviously where you run at the front a little bit in these cars. Obviously, you get a little bit more clearer air, and it's a lot easier to run in clear air than what it is in just a battle pack. Obviously, we saw that in the races in the Super Series on Thursday, as Matt Devine goes and sets a 25.3. So he's obviously got a handle of these things, and I'm pretty sure he's looking for a quick promotion if he keeps.
He runs massively wide at turn 1 there. It's just a little bit sideways through turn 1, Matty. I reckon that's done that lap to death.
Just looking at the timing, could have gone quicker too, because he set purple sectors in Sector 1 and Sector 3, but wasn't purple in Sector 2, so he's still got some in the bag.
Still got a bit to go. Topher's out there at the moment. We're currently on board with Chris as he's making his way into turn 9 by the looks of it.
David Keane, he's up there now. He's in third place. He had a good round at the previous one at Winton.
Well, David's already been slated for a promotion post this series. He will actually be running the RS in the Super Series Season 2 instead of the R. So I think you've got some news around that one, Matt, as well, on who he's going to be driving with.
Yeah, his team boss pulled some strings, which no one's too happy about, and had him promoted for Season 2.
Fair enough, as Topher gets massively sideways through turn 6. Comes down through the S's into turn 9. Hard on the brakes, hits the curb. Nicely done, Topher. Couldn't have done that much better.
This is an outlap as well, so this won't count. He'll be hoping he can sort of replicate the smoothness, I guess, in his flying lap coming up.
That's it. As we go on board with Topher, we will go on board the short shift nose cam. If we can hit the right button, the short shift nose cam. This is typical short shift professionalism at its best here.
Pick it up where we left off.
There we go, short shift nose cam. We had to cycle through about 50 of them as he hits turn 1. Pulling up through the gears. Now, Lewis,
left a little bit on the table at turn 1 there.
He did.
But go on.
I was using third through that chicane through there. What were you using there, mate?
I was sort of split. I found if I used third, I'd understeer at the first part of chicane and run wide.
Yep.
The second, so I used second and then upshifted straight away back up to third. As Topher's 2/10 up on his PB on this lap so far, so he's on a good lap here.
So let's see how he negotiates turn 6. Notorious turn 6. I'm predicting some dramas with these guys once they get the race pace out here.
He's up again. He's
He's done that
fastest
nicely.
in the middle sector as well.
Very nice. Currently only 1/100th of a second behind Matt DeBoon as he takes turn 9. Last hard stop of the track coming up now. Look out for the marks on the road.
You can gain a lot of time through this section if you use a bit of curb and sort of drift it. Obviously these things being four-wheel drives, if you use the curves there and get a little bit sideways and use the throttle to straighten
Getting
the car
a
up.
nice little draft as well up to out of there.
Good time, he's
126.0.
improved to a 26.0, so he's improved and he'll be happy that he's improved, but obviously not enough. Brendan Ross has jumped up to third place. He's actually got the fastest middle sector at the moment. He's done I think it's a 20.0 middle sector, which is faster than the current pole sitter by 3/10.
As we pick him up, coming into the last third of the circuit. Love this part of the track, Lewis, myself. Take curb, get on the power, use those straights.
Yeah, you sort of want to lean on the curb, just helps straighten the car up a bit as you head onto that final.
Unbelievably fun in the supercar, 127.2, lost in third. Love that part of the track in the supercar where it's just, because it's so heavy but so powerful, you need to just, it's a balancing act through there, mate. A bit of a dance with the curbs.
Yeah, you really do around this track have to use every bit of the track. You got to use curbs, even though they are very, very steep. You got to use curbs, both just because they're the fastest line through the chicanes, for example, and then you got to use them on the exit just to straighten up, as well as sort of to maintain speed. So it's all about maintaining a really good balance and speed, which can be tricky, especially coming up to the top of the hill in Dandenong Road. That's where I've had problems in just about every car I've driven here, and certainly there's going to be issues for sure tonight.
Yes, for sure. As we jump on board with Scotty Nolan. Now, Scotty Nolan, teammate to Brenton Hobson. So we'd be expecting him to light up the timesheets tonight, I reckon.
Yeah, he certainly. He told me that as I was in the Pro-Am channel just before. So I think if you get to handle of these things, it might take him a few laps, but I do expect him to at some point sort of flick a switch and figure these cars out and be up running at the front. But that said, Matt Devine is pretty damn quick at the moment.
If he's Hobbo's teammate, you'd expect him. He's got 3 laps. I'm assuming they're all out laps he's made mistakes on, but you'd assume been Hobbo's teammate, that he'd already be about 4 seconds up on everyone else.
That's it. For those that don't know, Hobbo, our inaugural champion of the Automobilist Australia Super Series, which probably just could have been called the Porsche Cup. By the end of it, nobody drove the Lancer. Nolan has a lose at turn 6.
As he demonstrates perfectly how difficult the top of the hill is up there. And it only gets more difficult as you go down as well.
That bump, the middle of the corner, there's a giant bump there, as you know, mate, and it's no fun, that bump, in any car.
Well, that bump in these cars is a minor inconvenience. It's more so the curbs on each side. If you sort of hit them when you're trying to slow the cars down, it sends into the gravel trap at Dandenong Road down there. You've really got to be precise as you navigate through that chicane there.
So we have 3 minutes left of the session. We'll pick up Brendan Ross. Brendan Ross will be pretty happy with this qualifying session at the moment, I think.
He's doing very well up there in 3rd place at the moment. That's all I got.
Sideways through turn 6, takes a lot of curb there, takes some liberties with the curbs. How's he looking turn 9? Not too bad, not a little bit wide.
I wasn't watching, so I just guessed.
Scruffing, I'm loving your contributions as always, mate.
I'm looking at the timer for qualifying, so I just sort of try and go along with the conversation.
I think Brendan, I think the difference between Matt Devine and Topher and Brendan Ross and the rest of the field is just that last sector. He's absolutely smashed everybody. Topher's fastest is a 33.8 in the final sector. Brendan Ross's fastest is a 33.9. Well, Devine's his is a 33.1. So that's 8 tenths, 5 tenths in just one sector. While the other two, they're relatively close, and in Ross's case, well, both of their cases, they're actually faster in the middle sector. So it's just all that final sector there.
So watch Cam Rutledge, Cranky Cam, put into the wall at the top of the circuit there.
One thing that I'm starting to think, looking at the timing, is we saw in the first round there was a lot of battles going on throughout the field, which did result in a car landing in the freaking crowd. And then last time out it went in the field after the first few laps, it did spread out a lot more, being such a technical track. But this time we've got a lot more cars within 3, 4, 5 tenths of each other going down the timing. So it looks, at this early stage, it looks like we could be in for a good race tonight.
David Keane absolutely bastardised section 3 there, and they've got a second down after his best second sector. He'd be looking to fix that problem this lap around, so we might stay with him. Minute 30 left. There's not a lot going on track at the moment.
No, not too many people lining up the timing sheets.
Matt Devine, as Keno hits the wall, just to make adjustments to the Lancer's aerodynamics right there. Matt Devine has not really done too much since he set his lap, so he's just sitting there having a go, keeping his feet warm.
Well, he hasn't really. I mean, obviously his first lap would still put him second position on the grid currently, and obviously his fastest time currently as it stands isn't going to be challenged by the looks of it.
We've got Scott Nolan just about to start a lap. He hasn't set a time yet, but he is just crossing the line now, so with 50 seconds left, no one in the pits will be able to get another time in, and pretty much everyone on track will be either about to start their final lap or has just started their final lap. So he'll be pushing hard on this one, hoping to get himself well up the field.
Oh, nice and sideways through turn 1. So we'll ride with Scotty Nolan here and see. This is do or die for him. If he doesn't sell lap now, he's rear grid. That's okay through the chicanes there, through turns 2 and 3 into turn 4. Get on the power. Let's use the back straight. Lewis, I don't know about you, but as he's a little bit slow. 0.7 seconds off. The back straight in these things seem to take an eternity.
Well, it was pre-race for me.
Fifth gear, Lewis?
5th gear, you're in 4th gear, you're pumped up, you're revving the engine, then you hit 5th gear and, well, get a book out because you're going to be waiting a while.
He's sideways, massively sideways, turn 6 has caught him again, and he's going to have a mighty crash. Jason Bright style.
I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't think he'll be getting around for another lap.
I think that could be day done as the session ends right there.
It's 000, so that's if you're on a lap now, it'll be your last one.
Somebody call the police.
Looks looks like Luke was trying to finish lap. He's gone off at turn 6 as well. Has absolutely destroyed the right side of that Lancer.
And another note of this track, the normal Armco barriers, that will damage your car, but if you hit the tyre barriers at any point, you will lose a wheel and probably be on fire. They're very damaging.
Somebody put dynamite in the Armco barriers at Sandown.
And speaking of dynamite, I did blow an engine in practice by downshifting too hard, and it did make an explosion noise.
Hey, there you
Fun
go.
fact.
Easy to do, mate. As let's take a nice little track view here as we wait for warm up to start. We won't be taking a break in warm up this time around. I don't think. I think we're all okay.
Speak for yourself. I'll be back.
No, goodbye, Scruff. Lewis, you okay?
I have to do the driver's briefing, so I'll be out for a moment, and I'll be back.
Buggy all. We will take a break then. We're going to play.
On that note, this break is brought to you by the Ford Motor Company, and oh shit.
You forgot the punchline, didn't you?
No, the paper's just disintegrated before I got to read out the slogan.
Ford Motor Company, fixed or repaired daily. Cool. So we're going to go to NoFX, and this is Oxymoron. Cheers.
I've been called an oxymoron because I question which drugs the war's on. Why are there more drugstores than liquor stores you can score on? The healers have become the harmers. They're just pharmaceutical farmers. What we used to call dealers, we now call doctors. I might be a seedy cynic, cause that crack house is now a clinic. It's time they change the name of the O2, the hypocritic or the parasitic. It isn't ad or altruistic by over-prescribing. How can we fight them in a Suboxone ring? I'll throw a Prozac accusation with a subketamine. They'll say my fears aren't way ludicrous. It should be out of vanishing. With every demo or altercation, he'll have a good sound explanation. You're just illustrated cause we made your dick deflated. It's oxymoronic. It's oxymoronic. It should be doctors getting busted for their colon opinions we trusted.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Better unmute Scruff so you can hear him. Hey Scruff, how are you, buddy?
I'm well. If I'm actually unmuted, hello everybody.
So 20 odd seconds left in this one. We're just waiting for Lewis to finish the debriefing, the pre-race debriefing.
He is at least attempting to debrief a few of them in a different way.
You don't want to know what goes on in those debriefings.
This is short shift. It's behind the scenes. It's even worse than what you guys see.
Yeah, it's not pretty. For anyone who stuck around in the post-race chat last night, that was always good.
They're always fun.
All right, warm-up has come to a close as we steer this boat back on track. David Keane fastest in warm-up on the 126.1. Scotty Nolan.
There is a
finally got
lake
time
at Sandown. There's a lake at Sandown, so the boat thing works.
That's it. Scotty Nolan got a time of 129.1 for his first lap. So now we're just waiting for the guys to grid up. As Matt Devine takes his spots. Not a bad view for the start for Sandown. Some of the other tracks we've been to, Scruff, been a little bit ordinary.
Yeah, we've had some fantastic camera angles and some that have been a little bit ordinary, but this one is one of the better ones we've had.
So currently waiting on Topher. Topher better pull his finger out because he could miss the start here, which he doesn't want to do for a second on the grid. And he might just be fixing up his fuel. Who knows?
He's still got 10 seconds left to get out there. So
These guys.
he's left the game. He's left.
Yeah,
the game.
do you want me to restart the race so he can join?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. So
I'll need the admin
I'll do
details.
it. I shall do it.
Okay, make sure it's the restart warm-up command, that way you can join.
Radio, do you want to jump? As we're providing
Alright,
admin
Lewis, I'm
duties
out of my
and
depth
commentary
here,
duties at the same time here. Lewis, do you want to jump in and let the guys know that we'll be restarting the race?
I'll send you the password on Facebook. I already didn't hear that, but it still went well.
So, the beautiful professionalism that we run at Automobilist Australia, and actually Automobilist Australia runs a lot better than Short Shift, that's for sure.
We do an amazing job as the group. It's just everything else we are terrible at.
We absolutely do. So this is kind of a dummy formation lap at the moment, as Lewis is getting Topher in as quick as he can. Massively disappointing for Topher if he does miss the start of the race. He had a solid qualifying position this time.
Holy God, I screwed up that password.
So we might just take a screenshot of the grid at the moment in case Lewis needs that to reset everything. So, bit of a anticlimax there. Somebody's crashed on the warm-up lap as well. So, with our new point system, Scruff, that would be an instant yellow card for those guys when he does that in formation in the basement.
I wasn't paying attention because I was busy trying to learn how to use a keyboard at 25 years old.
Not too sure what Keno's doing, but he's putting pressure on the leader on the warm-up lap.
Keno he's a fighter. Like, he'll never say never. And even on the warm-up lap, he wants to be in front.
Keno, I'm sure at the moment, is on some special kind of drugs as he takes off and spins the car.
Whoa, that is incredible effort there.
So it's safe to say these guys got the message that we're going to be restarting this one in order to get Topher on the grid. So
I hope Lewis has seen my message and realised just how bad I am at using. Oh, he is. Keno is not a fan of Keno right now.
Keno does not like the Lancer. He's trying to destroy it in every way he can. Give us a bit of comedy value. Well done, Keno.
He's just saying, screw the R, I want that fucking LRS.
He wants the RS. On the RS, actually, let's cover a few things here while we're waiting for this to restart. Super Series Season 2 Scruff. We're in the Lancer RS for the Pro A, Pro B guys. Lancer R for the Pro M guys and the unranked guys, which will just run under Pro M now. A few things with it. If you're in the group or Pro A, you have the standard Automobilist Australia windscreen with the gold stripe. Pro B's got the blue stripe. Pro M has the green stripe. Instead of the sticker this year, we got rid of the big sticker that took up half the windscreen and just put a stripe on the banner. So this race is about to start. Roughly. guys know they're restarting?
Hello, I'm back. Yeah, we had some issue with Lewis trying to sign into the server or whatever happened, and it just wasn't letting him do it. So we're going to have to do the vote for restart.
Fair enough. So is Topher ready to go? Do we know? Is he ready to get back on track?
I talked loudly and obnoxiously over him, so I don't know, and I tried to get back here as quickly as possible.
Fair enough. So I was just going through while we're waiting for the race to restart, what we're changing for Season 2 of the Super Series with us running the Atlanta RS as opposed to the Porsche Cup. And
Just to quickly cut across here, we've got an absolute mess on our hands right now.
this is great. I'm loving this right now. The one time we get the stream right and the stream working properly, everything else goes wrong in true short shift form.
You've got the grid order though, don't you?
I do, yes.
Alright, no worries. I'll be back in 2 seconds just to let Lewis know that we've got that.
Not a drama. So yeah, moving forward again, we will be having the Atlanta RS, which is modified from the stock content, has a more powerful engine in the Atlanta RS. The pickup guys, Pro-Am guys will continue to run Atlanta R. So the two different classes on grid at the same time, I think should be quite interesting and should be fun to go with. So just while we're waiting for this race to restart, we might just go back and go back to the title screen and wait for a few things to come back and come back with that.
With a flick of the tongue, she made her scream, she made her laugh, she made her dance. She was happy for the first time, and you know she wanted more. Now with the legs spread wider, she needed to have Louise inside her. She said, I'll never forget the first time you kissed me. Now I want you to fix me. Louise didn't need a second invitation. She knew just what to do. Yeah, she knew just what to do. I've had come a few times before, but she had never even seen the door into the world of pleasures of the flesh. She felt just like 16, and her life before now was a dream, or even a nightmare that's overdone. Just like warm healing rain shining from the sun. They make her beam, they make her laugh, they make her dance. She was happy for the first time, and you know she wanted more. You know she wanted more. You know she wanted more.
Everyone else has had more sex than me. Everyone else has had more Everyone else has had more sex than me. Does anyone else get that feeling? Teenagers naked, couple in threes, grandparents swing from the ceiling. Everyone else has had more sex than me.
My hair ain't poofed or blonded. My TER was so-so. I won't never score 100 or even win a Brownlow. To be something is something I fall short of, but me and Hawthorne's captain are connected, sort of. Al Nicole buys her bread rolls from a bread shop near my mom's. I met the Gallagher brothers, though not the famous ones. My brother stood next to Steve War in a lift. I had dinner at Warner's, but that's just another myth. I met her at a disco. We both were drinking Bundy. I told her that I liked her, though didn't call her Monday. She sure was pretty rat-arsed, but you don't knock back a win, especially when your best mate winks and whispers that you're in. Well, ain't never had a lesbo, nor two girls at one time did. But this I always will have to impress me wife and kid. The summer of my lifetime now freezes into winter. I got this sadness in me like flesh bound on a splinter. Rooting a guy.
clean, please don't let go. I said from the start that you could take it or leave it. I prefer that you keep it. Don't let go. This is the best thing that I've ever had for real. This is the best thing that I've ever had for real. This is the best thing that I've ever had for real. This is the best thing that I've ever had for real. As if the first cut wasn't deep enough, I dove in again 'cause I'm not into giving up. Could've got the same rush from any lover's touch, but I get used to something new 'cause no one breaks my heart like you. When you kiss me, you wish we could see what happens next. For a moment, I could forget.
Welcome back here to the MCG. Australia 4 for 633 after 23 overs in this rain-affected match. Scruff, how are you, mate?
Well, thank you, Brock. It's very good to be back here in the commentary booth.
In
We are currently just sorting the grid out, and we'll be underway very shortly. I don't know why I'm talking like this, because I'm from the 1950s when people did talk like this, and nobody knew why.
So we are blaming Christopher Field for that. Chris, you owe us big time to get you back on the grid there, buddy. Major issues with a couple of cars getting dumped from the circuit with technical
And
issues.
the absence of brain power from our chief. God, I hate that guy.
He's a bloody wanker. So Lewis
Shut
Wedding
your
has
fucking
been
mouth.
working his ass off in the background to get the grid sorted. We just had a little bit of trouble there, so that's why that took so long. I do apologise for the wait there. Hopefully you enjoyed the tunes.
Looks like the grid's just about done. We're now having to do it manually. It looks like it's just about done now, so we should be underway again in a matter of minutes.
In a matter of seconds. A matter of sexy seconds. so Scruff,
I'd like a new co-commentator.
why?
Sexy seconds.
Those seconds are sexy. No, it's all good. This is my show, man. This is my stream, my
Oh,
name.
well, if you can go twice, I still would call it sexy seconds.
My podcast, like this is all mine. This is my series.
And that's why I'm here corrupting it.
Just because you're running the series now doesn't mean you created it. I'm still your founder. So,
Yeah, but you know what they say.
oh, we got a new subscriber during all that. Somebody liked the music.
You poor bastard.
Oh, this is quality at its finest. You know, we did our best. We really did. We did our best tonight to make this as professional as possible. And then something fucked up, and it wasn't our fault. And I'm blaming Chris again. So, Chris, it's all your fault.
You fucking booted.
Well done, Chris. You ruined my bar mitzvah.
Lewis, how'd you go? After
Oh,
the
finally got-
aforementioned Al Chief fuck up.
Oh, I think everybody stuffed up there. My internet dropped at the perfect opportunity.
That was beautiful effort there, mate. I applaud you endlessly. But oh my god, we're about to have a warm-up.
So we doing a warm-up lap here or what?
Pretend you know what's going on.
Let's just make it up as we go. Matt Devine, he's on pole. Or Matt Devoon, he's on pole here. With God knows what time. That's just gone out the window.
He did a 25. He did a 1 minute 25.3 or yeah, 1:25.3.
I'll believe you.
Good guess.
Christopher Field in second is actually on the grid now. Christopher Field, oh, it's a slab, thanks mate. As they're away for their warm-up lap. Or
As Christopher
Matt Devine is anyway, or Matt Devine.
There we go.
Christopher in second. Went the wrong way there.
Someone's in third. Who's in third?
Brendan
Ross
Ross.
is
He's in
third.
third.
Brendan Ross. He's followed by Cam Rutledge. How do you feel about Cam Rutledge?
Creaky Cam, he's going alright, mate. He's reached out for some coaching. I think he's pulling his shit together, so he's going okay.
David Keane and Luke in 5th and 6th.
Lewis just did 2 spots at once, so now we've got Gary Neville in 7th, Alex Warrington in 8th, followed by Shane Witt in 9th. There's 3 beat that.
In 10th, we have Aussie. He's customary 10th at the moment. So it seems to be a spot. He's in your colours, Scruff.
Where's my lawyers? I'm paying him for nothing here.
I'm surprised you
Brian
didn't
Walsh
sue
is also
last
in your
time.
colours as well.
Yeah, Walshy, he's had a problem with gas though, so I reckon that will decide, much like he has with his farts.
Just on that, and his grinder partners. Just on that, Walshy is driving the Playboy car in the Super Series, the big black Playboy car, which was posted on our site the other day. Connor Dean, he's in 12th. Connor Dean probably looking to keep his nose clean again as we start to realign ourselves here. He's coming into turn 9. Did well last race just by keeping his nose clean, so hopefully he can do that again. Glenn Wise, no force feedback. Finding his way around there.
No force feedback.
Scott Holman, Hobbo's mate, is in 14th, and as he gets a handle on this car, we'd probably expect him to make up some spots. Lewis Winning, that bloody wanker, he's stuck in the pits. It's okay.
He's the worst driver.
Cycle back around to first.
Starting to form up on the grid now.
Don't try and make us sound all professional now, Lewis.
No, I've got to try. Someone's got to try. All right, someone's got to try out
Nah,
there.
it's gone. We'll try again next week.
So no stagger at Sandown, it's side by side. Your grid position is
Australian style grid.
Yeah, that's it. So
Australian mate.
Sandown grid based pole position on the left, even though racing lines on the right.
Got the better run into.
As the revs rise, lights are ready to go. Count them down. And Rookie Cup round 3 is go. Matt Devoon gets a flyer, but Chris actually got a great start on the outside. Can he make the run stick around the outside into turn 1? Pardon the brakes into turn 1. He's braked way too early. Brendan Ross gets in second place.
Yeah, Topher very conservative going into turn 1 there. He did have a good run on the leader.
Certainly got the jump, second gear change. He was perfect on there as we follow Matt Devine.
Cam Rutledge and David Keane side by side at the back.
No, that was Luke up the inside of Keane.
As we go back into the mid pack is always where the action is.
Got Brian Walsh and Shane Witt side by side going at the top of the hill. And Connor Dean also is under attack from Scott Nolan down the back. So there could be some incidents down here. It's not easy to pass coming at the top of the hill here.
Oh, we've got contact!
Big crash. Luke and
Contact.
Oh, there's another one off. There's another one off as well off with the boonies.
Oh, the boonies.
But he's
back,
kept it
boys.
going.
The boonies are back and everyone's out there.
We did call that turn 6 was going to be an issue for these guys.
And Luke is missing a wheel. He's missing a wheel.
David Keane is retired as well.
So Keno's gone, Luke's gone, Lewis Wedding's gone. We pick up back with Matt Devine. So yeah, big accident there at turn 1, unfortunately for, oh sorry, no, turn 6 for those guys.
Johnny, if you're watching this, we have a teach you guys because we did half a lap side by side out of turn 4 all the way back to the finish line. So we are clearly significantly better than everyone else, and they just need to take notice.
I don't know, it felt like to me there was always going to be someone who could bite off more than they could chew going into turn 6, and
It just got a bit too close there. There's just not enough space between them, and obviously they locked wheels, and that sent them both into the barriers.
Turn 6 is certainly the spot where you need to know where to relinquish that corner when you're no longer in it, and when you need to give racing room. There's one line through there. You can't really go unless you're giving absolute cooperation from both sides. There is one line through there.
That's why they need to listen to me and Johnny.
That's it, mate. So we're on board with Matt Devine. He comes into turn 6, the area of the accident. Nicely done, beautiful slide through 6. Brendan Ross runs a little bit wide through. That's where he's losing his time. By the looks of that, Lewis.
No, it's not so much there. It's just these last, after Dandenong Road here, this is where, obviously in qualifying, where Matt made most of his time up being half a second faster than anyone else. So if Brendan Ross can sort of start nailing it through here, these two could have a really close race here, because he's, at the moment, Matt has not dropped
crash
Brendan.
up the back. Sorry, Lewis. Big crash up the back. We've had Glenn Miles just fly off around the turns 6 and 7 S's, and he's gone flying into the wall. He's missing a bonnet, but he does look like he's getting underway again.
Kept it running. That's half the problem. Half the challenge is to keep it running. So, see if he comes around to the pits. He looks like he's got major damage there, and he takes out Chill Ice Coffee's on. Chill Ice Coffee. Still around, or is that gone?
Who knows, but we've got Connor Dean and Aussie side by side down the main straight at the moment. They're the closest battle on track.
Down the Sandown drag strip. The old Eastern Nats drag strip.
Perfect cars for a drag strip, these ones, boys.
Coming in turn, Aussie around the outside. Nice sweeping move around the outside, makes it stick.
Brian Walsh up into 9th place. Scotty Nolan from last on the grid is up in 8th, so good start from the two of them.
Aussie takes a little bit too much curve there. Turn 3 into turn 4. That's going to get Connor to run on the back straight. Let's see if he can do anything with this one. Skip ahead. Brian Walsh on his own in 9th. Scott Nolan made his way up in 8th just by keeping it clean.
Thanks for repeating what I said there, bro.
We've got a car in the barrier. Alex Warrington is in the barrier. And there's no sound from his engine. I think he's out.
Yeah, he's just retired.
Alex Warrington. The day done, son, for Alex Warrington.
So turn 6 has another victim.
We said it might be a much closer race. I wouldn't say that so far, even though we're on the 3rd or 4th lap, but we've had a lot going on. As Connor Dean has run off the track, or is that somebody else? I don't know. Aussie, it was, sorry.
Glenn Miles has found himself with a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, I presume.
Fair enough. At the moment, Matt Devon has absolutely pissed off. His best lap of 124.2. Brandon Ross in second, 125.666. Topher 126.3. Cam Ratley 127.077. Fourth, Gary Neville in 5th, keeping it clean, 127.9. Shane Witt in his first race with Automobilist Australia, 128.056. Scott Nolan 128.0. Brian Walsh 129.7. Connor Dean 129.9. And Aussie 130.4. Connor Dean got that spot back from Aussie. Shame we missed that one.
Topher has every right to be absolutely filthy with himself after his start. He wasn't aggressive enough into 1, and he's still in 3rd place, but who knows if he could still be holding up 2nd place.
No,
also,
sorry.
Going on the fastest lap, I think with the way the grid is, I think that's how Matt Devine's done the 24.2, because the last lap, like, they're nailing their lap times and they're doing 26. Last lap, Matt Devine 26.0 and Brendan Ross at 26.2.
The first lap is the shortest lap you do at Sandown.
Yeah. So obviously that best lap is going to be skewed a little bit, but Brendan is hanging with him, and in fact I'd say he's a little bit fast on that last lap.
Brendan is actually putting pressure on into turn 1 at the moment.
He's set the actual fastest lap. He's done a 25.8, so he's really putting the pressure on now. He's right behind Matt, and let's see if he can tighten the screws and possibly bring out a mistake in him.
And that's it for sure. Brendan Ross.
And then going further back, I hate to interrupt, we've got Cam Rutledge also all over the back of Topher now as well, so we've got a couple battles to sort of keep an eye on.
Just as Topher runs a little bit wide there at turn 4 as well, that might give Rutledge a good run down the back straight.
Couple of battles eventuating here as Ross gets a slipstream up the back straight here. Don't think he's going to have the speed to get through on turn 6, so all the balls.
He's got the line there, Cam Rutledge. He should take that position, and hopefully we don't have another incident here.
As we pick up that battle, Cam backs out nice and early.
Yeah, very smart there. Very smart.
For those who are watching on lap 1, that's how you do it. You commit to your line early and you commit to decision early.
Yeah, if you try and take that shallow line in there, you don't make the corner 9 times out of 10. So did the smart move there.
Nice driving by Cam. The rookie car working well for Cam. If you remember his first race at Ibarra, he had a few hits out there. So now he's kicked his nose clean the last couple of races, and he's going to get the result for it over the years as well.
I've received a video from David Keane, and I'm going to commentate on that for nobody because I can't play it.
Unfortunately, because I'm doing the streaming, we cannot see that video. And hopefully it's a video of the race. We do know what Keto gets up to in his spare time.
It's from the race, but I wouldn't call it a video of the race. I'd just say it's a
We've got Aussie and Brian Walsh also locked in a battle now. Aussie pretty close behind Brian, but obviously the battle at the front. I reckon Brendan at some point, he's going to get close enough, I reckon, at some point in this race to have a go if he doesn't make a mistake. He certainly looks faster at this stage.
Absolutely, Brendan's all over him. He gets a little bit wide through turn 6 there. As we'll pick up nose cam.
And Matt,
Connor Dean, massive crash out of turn 4. Sorry guys, his car is now on fire. He's just gone massively wide into the wall at very high speed out of the 4th corner, and he is presumed dead.
Yeah, those once again, those tyre barriers that I was speaking about earlier, they're a killer around here, literally. You hit them and, well, it's the touch of death.
The Save Sandown activation group starting to put dynamite in the barriers around here. As we're on board with Brendan Ross into turn 1. Nice braking move, making ground under brakes on the Matt Davoon car.
I wonder if we'll see the first pit stops this lap. Obviously, if I was Brendan, I might have even thought of maybe even undercutting Matt, because the front tyres is where you get a lot of lap time around here, and after a few laps they did start to go off a bit. So
how I was going to say, how did you find the wear in these ones, Lewis?
Well, the front, they don't wear badly in going off or anything like that, but you can certainly tell the difference between a front tyre that's 90% and a front tyre that's 100. So
we're on board with Ross through 6 at the moment. Nicely done. Don't think he could have nailed that one any better. Under brakes into turn 9, the old Dandy Road corner. Gets on the power. Matt Devane a little bit better out of turn 9 there.
Sorry guys, I'm just reading the advertising boards. We've got mate who can wait, stop smoking, start saving. That's a good message for the people out there. If you're a smoker, just, go away.
Well, it doesn't look like anybody's hitting at this stage. I did see the Ingado crew for Cam Rutledge come out for a moment. I don't know if he's going to pit though.
I'm just watching him now, and he is coming into the box. Pits.
So it'll be interesting to see if he actually jumps Topher in the pit stops, actually. So he was close.
Neville's kept going.
Rutledge our first stopper now.
Rules
around stops this time. 4 tyres, 2 tyres, 1 tyre, what is it guys?
It is 2 tyres.
Minimum 2 tyres?
Minimum of 2 tyres.
As Rutledge hits the mark.
It looks like we've only got the one fitter so far, with whoever that was, I already forgot. Professionalism at its finest, as always.
As we pick up
Cam Rutledge. Cam Rutledge in the pits. Although we have seen another car that was in the pits for damage, but I don't think he's still in the race.
So Christopher Field making his way out the back straight here and looking forward to turn 6 here.
Got Gary Neville's pit crew are ready, so he'll be making a pit stop this lap, I presume. Shane Witt.
Sorry, Lewis, you can go.
Shane Witt, his pit crew are also getting ready.
We got Ross still all over the back of Matt Devine. He just can't get close enough to begin to think about a move. As Devine comes into the pits and Brendan Ross has kept going.
Call that very, very late, so it'll be interesting to see if his pit crew are ready and if that costs him any time or not. And it'll be interesting to see if Brendan Ross can actually, put the hammer down on this in lap, because it does look like his pit crew are getting ready.
As we are watching Matt Devane take his first pit stop. We might jump on with Rossi and see if he can light up any sectors with the Devine car out of the way. As he smashes the curbs through turns 3 and 4. Nicely done.
We got Alex
on the back straight.
Alex Warrington is out of the race at the moment. He clicked on the wrong car. I don't know who I'm looking at. Someone's in the pits and they have a car.
Beautifully called, Scruff.
Shane Witt is either coming in, he's just come into the pits and driven straight into the side of whoever had the car.
That was Gary Neville, who's bumped into Shane Witt. It is
the Rookies Cup.
Quality work there by the rookies. As Brendan Ross sets fastest second, or his fastest second sector.
Gary Neville's got a penalty for something. Must be speeding in the pit lane, I presume.
I'm going to call that speeding in pit lane or contact in pit lane.
And Matt Devine's come out just behind Brian Walsh, so if that could potentially play into
It's going to be huge for Brendan Ross if Devine
Brendan
gets held
Ross's
up.
hands.
We'll go back and pick up Devine.
Yeah, he's just coming up the back straight behind Walsh at the moment. He's not too close just yet, but you have to think.
Topher has entered the pits and Brendan Ross is in the pits.
Matt Devine coming into turn 9 behind Brian Walsh. Does he get held up?
He has to make the move now if he wants to keep this lead.
Walshy defends, although he's shoved his nose up there. Will Walshy hold it high? Walshy defends into it.
We've
Into turn 12, runs wide.
In the pits too, guys.
Oh, they rub! Devine now coming past pit lane. Where's
Brendan
Ross,
Ross has just exited the pits. He's just exited the pits. It's going to be close.
And he game on, but looks like Brendan Ross has it at the moment. Brendan Ross takes the lead with the undercut. Matt Devine getting caught up a little bit in lap traffic, and Brendan Ross now in first place. He takes turn 1 with fresher tyres. We have 5 laps left as well.
We've
Can
got
Matt
Aussies
Devine
just
become
come in for his
become
stop.
the chaser now?
And Cam Rutledge has jumped Topher in the pit stops, so that should shake out to 3rd place for Cam once Brian pits.
So the undercut working beautifully here around Sandown. There you go, time to get the new tyres on earlier, that's the way to go. It's Matt Devine now trying to put the pressure back on Brendan Ross coming on the back straight.
He's got those headlights on, trying to get into the mirrors and distract him as best he can.
That's it, headlights ablaze.
I will need to have a word about that. We want to reserve that for lap traffic, but Matt Devine getting very close. Looks like
Oh, it
he's gonna
takes a
have
dive
go.
up at Danny Road. Do they make contact side by side?
Oh, a little bit of contact there, it looks like.
Well, we
But
need to have
Ross-
another look at that one, Lewis.
Ross has the inside line.
It does look like he's lifted to give that position back, I think. Although he doesn't want to give it up. Yeah, that might need to be looked at, I think, because he has gained that through a bump and run, but Brendan Ross is going to have another go here.
I was about to go to the replay, but we'll stick with this. Can Brendan Ross hold it around the outside of turn 1? Difficult corner to pass on the inside of turn 1 because it does slide slightly off camber.
We've got harder racing up front than an old man who's had too many Viagra's.
Ross now, will he take a dive in turn 2? No, holds his nerve.
Thinks better of it. He's not
Devine.
drifting around as much as what Devine is at the moment.
Devine is absolutely shredding his tyres at the moment. Let's take a quick replay of that incident at Danny Road. So we'll go to the onboard cam. Hopefully see if in your mind, Lewis, this one was fair.
There's a lot of things going on in Lewis's mind, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah, what am I going to have for dinner tomorrow night being one of them?
What do I have for dinner tonight? That's a good question, boys.
Do I get up and have a drink is another. I don't want it right now because this battle is still raging at the moment.
We might wait and see if we get a protest on that one before we make any action. It did look like they raced pretty clean through those 3-4 corners.
But it didn't look like a massively significant bump, but it does look like something that does need to be spoken to about, but maybe not penalised.
He did bump him off the circuit, and then through that he did eventually pass him. So
It is one of those Danny Road incidents. I remember Fabian Coulthard at Sandown last year in the 500 got penalised for that in the qualifying race. So it's possibly something that we'll need to review post-race.
Maybe they get a little bit too local and are just off their faces by the time they're standing on.
That's it.
Oh,
it's Ross spins!
Oh, that's not good for the race at all.
And that's put an end to that battle, unfortunately. I'm gonna tip as he's hit the barrier.
These things are damn near impossible to spin back around once you spot
And
it.
Cam Rutledge is going to take
gonna pick up
second place,
here.
and Topher, he's dropped off the back of him a little bit. He's not going to be close enough to get Brendan here.
Well, you can go and get that drink, Lewis, or anything like that.
Oh, you never know. Brendan he'll be on a charge now. He want to get second place back.
If he takes a dive from here, I hope you muted yourself for that, Brock. If he takes a dive from here,
I did, but it didn't work.
He's got three.
I pointed it out.
It's not going to take a literal dive from this position, but I think he's got the pace to close on second and make a position up.
He was keeping up with Devine so well throughout the race. You have to think he will be able to get the spot back even with only 3 laps to go.
Unless he picked up some damage when he hit the wall. These things do damage quite easily.
And as I said, that was one of those tyre barriers that do kill you, so
Cam Rutledge, Jolly's Christmas has come at once at the moment. He's in second. Matt DeBayan, he's miles in front and first now with the spin of Brendan Ross.
How many different ways can you pronounce his name in one broadcast, bro?
Matt DeVine.
Ovine being the next one, probably.
I think Matt Devon will be the next one, I believe. Matt Devon, right?
Matt Devon.
Looks like Toph is actually.
Topher is catching Ross at the moment, for sure.
Yeah, he's the one applying the pressure at the moment.
Topher's had some massive lag there as well.
Oh, yes, he has.
He disappeared and then made his way back to our screens.
He's teleported there. But
he's obviously engaged warp speed there and has made up half a second.
Alright, Topher with the slipstream coming up the back straight. Will he be able to make a move up to the inside of turn 6? One of the better passing places around here, if you can pull him off. Oh, he's run wide though. Oh, Brendan Ross has one right. Takes out the Cooper side. Oh, contact! No. Massive contact! That's ended Brendan Ross's day. I dare say that steering damage is absolutely buggered. That puts Topher into third.
Steering damage is buggered, boys. That steering damage is buggered.
English is my first language.
It does look like he is holding that steering wheel on a little bit of an angle down the straight, but he sort of, both of them were sort of a bit iffy there. Topher probably should have left a little bit more space, but at the same time, Ross probably should have slowed down when he went over the.
I'm just on board with Ross now, and he does have. It's not significant, but he definitely is a little bit right him down. So there is some damage to that car that will be slowing him down.
Full wide on that one. That would be all on Brendan Ross with his re-entry. Could have been handled a little bit better.
He was off the track. He came back in, and contact was the result. So you can't really go past him. It's being a blame there, whether or not it is. A significant thing is a different question. Due to where it was on the track, it is a hard spot, even if, but no matter what,
pick up the short shift replay of the incident. You can see Ross running wide. Chris has just taken up his line and then bang into the side of the car. I don't really think Chris, without virtual reality, I've seen him there.
Yeah, I don't think he would have seen him either.
Sort of back live.
Lewis, you always sound like you're about to say something. So often you don't.
I was about to say something, but lost my train of thought. But
speaking of trains, we've got 3 cars. Brian Walsh, Ozzy, and Gary Neville are all very close together at the moment, fighting for 6 spots.
We are currently riding with Matt Devine as he comes up back straight with. How many laps left, guys? Last lap.
Yeah, it's just about to start the last lap.
And it looks like it's Aussie's made a mistake. And so has Brian Walsh. They both sort of run wide in separate parts, and that's well, allowed Gary Neville to close up, but no one's actually changed position. So 2 cars go off the track in separate parts, and neither of them changed
And
positions.
all 3 of them trying to take the inside line into turn 12.
While she's had a good look up the inside there, and I think we can safely say this last lap is going to be one spicy meatball.
Walshy's actually having a good race at the moment, guys. As,
Gary is close enough for a pass here. I wonder if he'll have a go.
It is going to be Neville to see if he can shove up the inside.
He's having a look. He's brake late.
Come on. Oh, nice, Gary.
Side. Nicely done. Neville moves into 7th place.
Gary in there eventually, didn't we?
Definitely. As Brian comes on, that is
yeah, no, that one we that's have a look at.
No, sure. that will be a penalty of some sort.
As
that was
jump on board with Matt Devine as he takes his first win with Automobilista Australia.
As Gary drives into the wall, trying to turn it back around.
Cam Rutledge comes in 2nd place. Mega drive there by Cam. Chris Field was catching.
As Gary's driven into a 2nd wall.
In 3rd, Brendan Rossi in 4th. Scotty Nolan kept it clean. He's in 5th as we'll go pick up the group that's having dramas. Brian Walsh. Oh, where are we? So we had incidents with Brian Walsh. Let's take a replay on that one, guys.
For all that, Shane Wicks put himself up in 8th place in front of Gary Neville after Gary hit every wall on the track and up around.
Okay, so here's a replay of the incident between Walsh and Neville. As Walsh just bit off more than he can chew.
I think he's in a bit of trouble also for turn 1 there, because he's moved over crossing the braking zone and caused a little bit of contact with Gary.
And Gary has, I've just been watching him, Gary's lost his wheel and he is out of this race on the lap. He's just got too much damage from that instant trying to turn it around. And he's run off out of the S's and it's just game over there. So that's a very unfortunate end for Gary, because he was having a strong race. And anytime you see a driver go out on the last lap, it is unfortunate.
This is correct.
I'm always correct.
Certainly was. So we had obviously Matt Devine had a great battle with Brendan for most of the race, but obviously a little bit of contact going into Dandenong Road decided that, and after that it sort of snowballed for Brendan Ross. Had a terrible last few laps, and Cam Rutledge, obviously his race turned around at the pit stops, pitting early, got in front of Topher, and then inherited position from Brendan Ross after his mistakes.
Cam Rutledge's done an amazing job of keeping it clean out there, guys. So it's one thing that we're getting from the Rookie Cup is the advantage of staying clean and keeping it clean, because that's a podium for him. And yeah, I think that's the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen a driver who may not have been the fastest out there grab a podium just by keeping it clean.
Well, speaking of keeping it clean, we've got Topher with us there. This is embarrassing.
It appears his microphone is muted at the moment.
He does live in Dandenong, so he's probably enjoying one of the local shootings at the moment. He does race on his balcony.
Christopher Field has one of the better setups that we have for a race.
Gentlemen, I am now here. I was locked inside the game as it restarted the server, so couldn't get out to you guys. But thanks for commentating.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about having a clean race in this rookie series can do wonders for you, and we barely even noticed you out there, mate. You got a solid place. How'd that race go from your point of view?
Look, it would have been basically a perfect run into 2nd place had I not, for the 2nd time this series, neglected to take off repair damage. I got a tiny bit of rear corner damage on the 1st corner of the race, and because they stopped to repair that put me behind Cam Rutledge. Obviously, I inherited the podium from Brendan Ross as he had some issues, and Cam, I couldn't catch Cam. I did get close to him once or twice, but I couldn't quite get him. And that came down to the extra 10 seconds I spent in the pit.
Just on Brendan Ross, Topher, that would have been a skid mark moment, seeing that car come back on the track from nowhere after.
Yeah, look, a little bit credit to him. He really did catch it very well, and he did leave me with enough room. There was some contact there, and I'm sure the stewards will have a look at it. But he was trying to recover from an out of control moment, and I think I left him enough room. So I think it was just a racing incident, but we all got through it, so that's okay.
Could you talk us through the start there? It looked like you got a good jump and were in a decent position going into turn 1, and then ended up sort of giving, well, not really having a look at first, and then leaving a place to Brendan behind.
I gave it away. I braked at around about the correct point for if I was going full speed down the straight. So that was just a pure brain fade on my part. And it cost me that second spot into the first corner. And in the end, that and the pit stop error, I think, were really the only two mistakes I made in the whole race as far as I can see.
Well, compared to a lot of other people, they were very, very minor mistakes. I mean, obviously we saw quite a number of errors in that one, so you'll be looking, I guess, to have a slightly cleaner race next time round.
Absolutely. Look, if I'm lucky enough to be able to qualify in the same place a second time, then my aim is just to go into turn 1 in second place and try and have a very boring race after that. And if I do get...
Hey, Scott Nolan, you there?
Yep.
Cool. We're going to put you into TV time, okay?
Oh, okay.
You're going to get interviewed.
Righto.
Alright guys, we've also got Scott Nolan, which you probably just heard all of that. I just realised. Scotty Nolan, first race for the series, as we are beautiful at the way we professionally run our broadcast. How'd you go out there, mate?
Yeah, that was really, really interesting. First AMS race altogether, to be honest. I've been watching one of my teammates, Bretton Hobson, run around, and pretty fun stuff here, so I thought I'd come and give it a run. Literally, just saw that you guys had a race on and messaged Brock and said, hey, can I jump in? And he was willing, and then just had Lewis and the boys helping me through trying to set everything up. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. Literally trying to like heel toe and remember how to, learn how to drive his car. So pretty intense, but pretty happy just to stay out of trouble and gain a few positions.
Oh, you did well, mate. I think you've come in 5th or 6th there, just by keeping it clean, and that's a feather in your cap in the rookie cup, mate. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, it was pretty intense there at the start. A few people, off the track there, and tried to really dodge it all. Come from an iRacing background, and it's been a common thing in some of our races lately. So it was good to sort of dodge it and not get caught up in it. And solid first race in Automobilista. So pretty happy with that.
I did want to ask about your background. It's one of the reasons that I pulled you into the commentary booth just there, mate.
I've got the question of the day. I'm just saying. We'll say the best for last.
Oh, don't bug you, Scruff. I'm going. With
I
the
iRacing,
the
best for last. Yeah.
The iRacing backgrounds. You're in the V8 Scops series, are you?
Yeah, so I run Scops, a part of Synergy Sim Racing, which is the same team as Hobbo. So, yeah, I've just actually joined that crew from another team, so it was really nice of them to bring me on board. So pretty much been running iRacing for probably the last 18 months, 2 years. Bit on and off with work commitments, but been pretty solid this year in doing that, and really just looking to see what else is out there. As I said, watching Hobbo run the Super Cup series and win that was pretty impressive. So I've registered for the Lancer series coming up in the Super Cup too, and looking forward to that as well.
Excellent. Good to more than welcome. We're more than happy to have you. Just wanted to ask a quick question, and it's probably going to be a little bit hard to answer, considering this is really your first run in Automobilista. How are you finding the physics model in this simulator as opposed to the iRacing simulator?
Ask him with these cars.
This one was hard. This car was really hard. I haven't really learnt where the limits are, so I know obviously there's definitely more time out there, but I was struggling a bit just with my wheel settings as well. I was running iRacing wheel settings as well, so I think it was sort of the different force feedback and that I had on was I think it was playing up with my wheel because I was sort of losing a bit of force feedback there at different times as well, so almost like clipping or something like that. So I've got to definitely adjust that in future, probably after the tonight. But yeah, it is. From what I've run a few different. I've run the F3 today, and I ran the other Lancer this morning, and it feels really good. So I think if I just adjust a lot of my own settings and that, I think I'll get it looking pretty good. And I think there's definitely some time there.
Excellent. Scruff, you had a question? It's after you just bagged the shit out of mine, mate.
Yeah, we'll let you get out for qualifying. Scotty, but just really quickly, I have gone on record a few times saying your teammate Brenton Hobson is a bit of a smug twat. Can we expect more respectable behaviour from himself?
Oh, look, he's the Craig Lowndes of iRacing, really. Like,
Used to be good, but he's just fallen apart.
no, he's a nice guy that everyone likes. No, Bretton's a really good bloke. You know, races hard, but I feel like he races fair as well. And you know, if someone gives him a bit of a rub, he won't be afraid to give it a rub back. But yeah, he's a top bloke and just a really good driver. I don't know how he does it. Yeah, switching from this and back to iRacing and Assetto as well. Like, he runs a lot of different series over 3 different sims and is competitive in all of them. So it's just intense. Obviously, it's taking me a bit of time to work this out today. But he would have just come in here and been like on the pace. And I don't know. I know he does a lot of videos and stuff and has a lot of you know, a lot of time in the different sims. Maybe not so much racing, but you know, just doing, you know, videos and stuff like that for his YouTube. So you might have had a bit more exposure than what I have, but yeah, he's just a top bloke. Yeah, I'm really probably the #1 fan. Sorry, Scruff.
That was a disappointing answer there, Scruff.
Yeah, no, I wasn't happy at all. I was expecting this is your chance just to pile on everything you possibly can think of, mate.
Nah, he's a really good bloke. Yeah, he brought me across from another team into Synergy with the boys, and they're an awesome bunch of guys. Yeah, we've got a couple of boys running an Assetto V8 Championship as well. So, yeah, we're trying to branch out across a few different platforms, but it's all about time. But yeah, he sort of sits there and helps, and he helped me with sorting out some issues that I had with this game. And yeah, he's always there to help when he's got the time. He's a very busy man.
I couldn't agree more with you. I may hang a lot of shit on him, but he is a top bloke. But
oh, he takes it and he gives it back. So yeah, he loves it.
I won't argue there either. But well, thanks for joining us, mate. We'll let you get out there and do some qualifying. You've got 11 minutes left, so best of luck to you and just qualifying in race 2.
I need the time on the track, so thanks, fellas. But yeah, cheers for that. It's been a pretty good series so far. So yeah, definitely run it when I can, and should be a lot of fun.
Excellent. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. Good luck.
Good luck in quality.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Radio.
God, I hope Hoppo's watching.
Me too, that'd be great. As we have qualifying running at the moment. Luke is currently fastest, 126.5. Cam Rutledge in second, 126.8. David Keane, 127.5. Rounds out the top 3. Matt DeBoon has not gone out on track yet. He's waiting for his end centre.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, Cam Rutledge is also up there. He's in second position, but we're not seeing quite the times that we saw in qualifying 1 just yet. So maybe there's a bit of traffic for a few of the guys. I can see a few of them out there with cars around them.
The thing there is, after race 1, the track usage does reset, so you don't have down from like you did for qualifying 1 after the hours practice session, all the cars going around.
Brown Ross gets nicely on 2 wheels through turn 1. So yeah, without the practice, I guess the practice rubber down.
Yeah, it's it.
By a country mile there.
Once we do get into the first qualifying session, we usually have the track usage set as heavy, but right now it is currently track usage medium, so there will be probably these cars half a second slower without the extra grip.
And I think that'll advantage these guys that are out there at the moment. So I don't know if Matt Devine's just sitting and waiting for his time, or if he's just busy, but I think it'd be at a disadvantage to leave it until the last minute when obviously the track's got less rubber on and you don't know how much grip's there, because he'll come onto the track and he'll be expecting that grip from the previous race and the previous qualifying session where it was much more rubbered up to be there, and it's just not going to be there.
So Brennan Ross just mistook his Lancer R for a Lancer WRC as he bounced through turn 6 and 7.
We've got David Keane has jumped up to the top of the time sheets. He's set a 26.2, so he's setting some nice times at the moment.
Fucking hell for the win, boys. That's what we're going to
Ross
see.
drops into second, 126.55 or 5.35.
Is that the Suez Canal, or is that a different thing? Scruff.
I wasn't really paying attention to that.
Okay, mate. No worries.
What did you say? I wasn't. I mean, I needed information.
David Keen's current has gone set fastest first sector out there.
He's 4/10 up on his, and he's got another 10th up in his middle sector here, so he could set a 25 here.
These performances from him, he can just pull it out of the bag, and that is why he has a fucking hell drive for the season 2 of the Super Series. Because he's not at the front just yet, but I personally think that before long he will be at least challenging the top 5 overall in a lot of races. So, having said that, Topher is on a hot lap at the moment, coming out of the first sector. He's on the back straight at the moment, and he is doing quite well.
David Keane does a 1:26.278.
Lost all that time, lost half a second in that final sector there.
Did lose quite a bit through the final sector.
He's still improved on that lap though, so it does go to show just how strong he was.
As we pick up Topher.
Nah, Topher's lap's fallen to shit, don't worry about him.
Well, he has set a purple middle sector.
He's not going too bad, mate. I mean, on the Peterbrook straight.
He doesn't have any flames coming off anymore, there's no point watching.
What's that final sector going to be? He's gone P1, so
P1.
Still not the fastest.
Well, I'm leaving the booth after that.
Matthew with his crystal balls doing fuck all as normal.
Mate, my balls do more than you can imagine.
Just ask your dog. As we just
fuck off.
Well, Topher on his lap there, obviously he set the purple middle sector, but it was mainly just a consistent lap that got him the P1 there. Obviously, we've got David Keane, who's very fast in the first sector on his lap, and good in the middle, and very good in the last sector.
Topher has set a PB for sector 1 again this lap as well, so be careful. We'll get on board with him and see how we go, as we just got massive lag issues if we go on board.
You cheeky fucking bastard.
Oh, and he's lost it there. That's going to be... He's off in the boonies.
And that's going to be a serious... Oh, he bailed out on us before he saw the crash. Nice one, Chris. Way to kill the broadcast, Chris.
He's entered warp speed again and saved the car.
That was incredibly disappointing. I was hoping to see the accident there. So we jump on board with Scotty Nolan, the iRacing V8 Scops guy, finding his feet in Automotive Blister Australia. And
not a smug twat like you said, mate.
No, actually quite a nice guy.
I know, it's a surprise, isn't it?
Hobbo's got a lot to learn from his teammates.
Hobbo, if you're watching, pay attention.
Coming into turn 1 for Scotty Nolan.
He does love hanging it out there, and that might be a track cut. Maybe.
Rock loves hanging it out as well.
It's working blue after 10:30 at the Short Shift podcast.
We've just fallen apart tonight, haven't we?
We have.
So Scott Nolan is up 2/10 on his PB, but he's down 3/10.
We got Lewis Wedding, Alex Warrington, and Matt Devine haven't left the pits yet, but Lewis Wedding, you have to say, has had an absolute shocking evening in every aspect.
He has, as Matt Devine has now left the pits.
Still currently have Warrington in pit lane.
And Brendan Ross has taken P1. We haven't seen it, but he has gone P1.
126.119. All in the second sector. Massive second sector.
He does seem to nail that sector. Obviously, in qualifying 1, he got it right, and in the race, he was faster as well.
We'll stay with Scotty Nolan just to see how he finishes this lap. Looking a lot smoother at the moment than he did in Quali 1.
Well, he's not in the barriers like he was in Quali 1, so that's a plus.
126.9, nice lap. Puts him in the 6th place.
Starting to find his feet now.
Getting his form out there.
We've had Topher reporting himself in the Facebook group, and I'm throwing that out immediately. That was for the contact with Brendan Ross as he rejoined.
Yeah, and I don't personally think that he's got anything to answer for on that one.
Topher, you've reported yourself, and mate, I might have to give you a penalty for being such an idiot and reporting yourself.
As we jump on with Miles Devine in the short shift bonnet cam. He's making his way up Peterbrook Straight. Let's see, first qualifying attempt for Miles Devine, and let's stay on board with him and we'll see what he can achieve out there. The nice cut into turn 1, uses all the track on the way the exit. Grabs turn 2 curve, turn 3 curve, beautifully done. Got a nice flow through there at the moment.
We don't have anyone lighting up the timing screens at the moment. We do have Luke. Looks like he might be able to improve on this lap, but Shane Witt looks like he's on a good lap as well. But
Matt Devine's gone fastest first sector.
It's gone fastest in the first sector, but it is not the... I don't think it is the fastest first sector, though, that we've had.
We don't have purple... Well, we do have a couple now in the second sector. We have Matt Devine, looks like he is on for a hot lap. We've got Brendan Ross on a hot lap and Tober on a hot lap.
Brendan Ross has set a purple first sector.
Told you.
It's fine.
Told you so.
I know you are, but what am I?
We'll stay on with Matt Devine and let him finish his lap and see where he slots in after his first hot lap, then we'll pick up Brendan Ross.
Yeah, Ross is still on a hot lap coming out the second sector, and we also have Luke, who has set a hot time for the first sector.
Matt Devine comes to the start finish line, goes for number 1! Nice lap, 126.060. First run out.
Well, it's going to say if Brendan Ross could keep it together in the final sector, he would have taken first position back, but he made a mistake coming into the final turn and got a bit of a tank flapper on, and that's cost him because his first sector was up a few tenths.
Yeah, Brendan Ross was half a second in sector 3 there.
Luke has kept his lap going through the second sector, which is just a straight, so that's not really relevant information, and I don't know why I'm bringing.
Matt Devine goes fastest again, or his personal best in sector 1.
We got Luke just about to cross the line now. We'll see what he can do with this lap. He has just done nothing, looks like.
No movement for Luke.
That's disappointing.
Brendan Ross has, well, he's done a very quick first sector again. He's done a 31.8, which matches what he did in the last lap, so he'll be hoping to match his personal best middle sector and nail that last sector, and that should jump him up if he can nail it.
Pick up Matt Devine because he's set 2 PBs for sectors 1 and 2.
Brendan Ross is just at the fastest purple sector 2.
As he comes out of turn 13.
A little bit wider than he would have liked, but he got it in, and he's wouldn't have lost too much time there.
Lost a ton of time through sector 3 there. 0.6 of a second.
This is where he lost it on.
Guys. Brendan Ross
takes a chunk of curve. That's going to cost him some time.
He didn't make as bad a mistake as what he did on the last lap, but will it be good enough to get him in front?
He will get another lap in here if he's got the fuel on.
Couldn't improve Brendan Ross. Fastest time 126.119. He's staying consistent out there though, losing almost a second, or sorry, 0.3 of a second to Matt Devine.
Well, he has crossed the line in enough time to get another lap in, but Matt wide out of the first corner, and Luke has just gone top with a 25.8.
Nice.
He's pulled that out of the bag, Luke. That said, though, Matt Devine has set a purple first sector, as does Brendan Ross, both with 31.7s.
I don't believe in either of them now. Luke is my new hero.
Matt Devine a 31.75, Brendan Ross 31.735, so absolute stuff all in it. Matt Devine lost a little bit there though through sector 2. May have set the fastest sector 1 by losing his run on the sector 2. Brendan Ross does a 20.042 for sector 2. We'll stay with Matt Devine, but then we'll pick up Brendan Ross straight away because this is the battle for pole, folks.
Yeah, Brendan Ross doesn't look like he's been able to do much through the second sector, but again, that is just the back straight.
Matt Devine improves, but he doesn't quite. He's just short. Can Brendan Ross nail or get that final sector right? He
looks like he's got the final corner.
125.853 for Matt Devine.
He didn't hit the curves, and he's done it.
Brendan
he has
Ross.
done it.
What a lap! That is exactly 1/10 of a second separating the top 3 for this race.
900th of a second.
Clutch lap by Brendan Ross for his first pole position for Automobiles Australia. He'd be very, very happy with that one, I imagine.
got that first and middle that middle sector is where he got it done. Obviously, he isn't quite as quick in that final sector, but his middle sector is 2/10 faster than Luke's and 3/10 faster than Matt's, and that's got him over the line there.
Oh, forget about Luke. Brendan Ross is my hero.
Brendan Ross takes over for Scruff's hero. So we got the warm up. Are we taking a break this time, guys? We thought we'd consult while we're on air again.
We do have a sponsor for breakage.
Okay, so
well, this break, assuming we're taking it, is brought to us by Taylor Swift with her new album. Does anybody love me?
comedy stylings of Matt L.G. Williams. People, I do apologise for those. Tell you what, we might we'll see if we can get Rossi in for an interview. And so give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll be back.
With Brock absent, I'm going
The next race. Go on, Brock.
I'm here. Oh no.
Can I just do the driver's briefing, or do you want to bring him down first? Oh, there's a couple of things we've got to talk about. You can take him down, I'll go through with him later.
nothing else to say, but it looks like Brock is back. Brock, how would you rate your performance in the Pro-Am voice chat?
Awesome, as always.
Fantastic, mate, fantastic.
So we've managed to nab the race 2 pole position winner, and Brendan Ross, mate. Epic lap to finish off the session. Well done, buddy.
Thanks, Matt. It was a tough lap to put together. I think I had about 3 or 4 tenths up for the last few laps, and I kept stuffing them up, but that one finally got together.
Yeah, Rossi, I've gone on record as saying that you are my new hero, and if we ever meet, I will just bow down to you at your feet, because that was frankly the greatest thing I've seen in my entire life.
It was
The greatest
Senna-esque.
thing.
It was a clutch
Senna
lap.
who, man? Like, the Brazilians, they don't know what's going on.
You're
No.
kidding.
Absolutely clutch, Rossi. So well done, mate. It's first pole position for Automobilista Australia for you, mate.
I think so.
So,
We'll say
He's that nonchalant, he doesn't even give a shit.
so what's the plan for the race, mate? We noticed the last race that the early stoppers seemed to gain an advantage. So would you be looking to realign your pit strategy for race 2?
I don't know. I come out. I pitted later than I think it was Matt, and I come out ahead of him.
That's
you
true,
pitted before
Brock.
Matt.
Devine pitted first, and you are just falling to bits here, mate.
I'm thinking of pitting later.
You're full of crap, Matt. Brendan Ross totally pitted first.
You want to punch on, mate? I mean, I will take you.
Stop talking
Ding, ding.
crap. Anyway, Short Shift Productions. off to its
Enrico
beautiful-
has entered the game. Who is Enrico, and why is he in the game?
No idea.
Nico. No, he's left.
Enrico has left the game. That was freaking
We
exciting.
could always boot him. Alright, good luck for race 2, Rossi.
Cheers.
We're expecting you to win this one, mate, so do it for Short Shift.
Yeah, if you don't win, then the hero status is just gone.
Okay, I'll do it for you, L Chief.
That's what I want to hear. Get out there, love.
Cheers, boys.
Rightio, beautiful work in the Short Shift commentary booth just there by Matt. who
You should have
totally
heard me while you were gone.
Mate, you have no idea what's going on in that race. You need to pay attention a little bit more.
I don't have any idea what's going on in any race, let alone ones I'm in.
So warm-up's still going. There's 2 and a little bit minutes left as Lewis Wedding is providing the debriefing. But so we've got some cars coming down track. Matt Davoon going out, by the looks of it. Well, no, Kino's going out, I apologize.
Yeah, no, I don't have any idea what's going on.
Because, again, you're drunk. And
I'm not drunk.
we need to do something about your drinking, my friend.
You cut out there.
God damn it. Radio. So, pick for race 2, Scruff, as we're waiting for race 2.
I'd have to go with Brendan Ross. He may be my hero, but he was looking very strong during the first race, and with that qualifying lap, he is hard to go. If he has a clean race, I can't see anyone past him.
He did look good in race 1. I think he liked being the hunter more than being the hunted. And
But I have found that chasing you can use the car in front as a massive reference point, which helps in a lot of different ways other than just helping get up to speed. It helps if you see them braking at a certain point, then you brake at the same point, and you know your tyre wear is going to be roughly even. And why the hell has my just audio gone crazy?
I don't know. We can hear you fine at this end, mate.
Alright. I can't remember what I was saying, but whatever it was, yeah, that.
It was a little glimpse of genius from...
It always is.
So as we wait
Lewis, you
Yes?
got any thoughts? You think a lot of stuff. What are you thinking?
Donuts? I wish I had donut right now. It'd be quite nice. Although
I just want to know in general, what are you thinking? Is everything okay? And are you in a good place in life?
Yeah, I'm in a good place right now. Could be a little bit better if I was, didn't have a internet random disconnect on last night. But
yeah. Actually, let's have a quick talk about last night, Lewis, because you and I are both running reasonably strongly, and we both had the same issue, I think.
I wouldn't say I was running strongly. I was pushing as hard as I could, and people were driving away from me. I'm not used to that. But yeah, like normally I've had that issue in the past where I've just disconnected from the server. But this time, like normally I'd get warning where there'd be warping or something like that. But this time there was no warning. I went to check you to see if you were pitting, and then I pressed it to go back to me. As soon as I got back to me, I got connection lost, and couldn't believe it.
I had something similar. I didn't check anyone. I hit the button because I use a little bit of a different idea on how to know when people are pitting. I tune into the commentary team and just to find out who's pitting around me, and then I heard them say that I was DNF'd. And I actually came over and said, "Guys, still racing," because I was still pushing. And then I came into the pits and I realised that there was no other cars on track. As soon as I came out of the pits, I crashed. So it was a really weird night for technical.
Hey, you guys need to stop being so self-absorbed and talking about yourselves, because we got a race starting in seconds.
Fair enough.
Well, we would talk about you, Scruff, but you didn't race, mate. So
my commentary performance was fucking.
It was mediocre, mate. Just be honest with yourself.
Mediocre at best.
Get out of the group. Get out of the group.
As we are waiting for the cars to grid up at the moment.
Pink Lamborghini. Oh, shit.
It's not pink, it's red, isn't it?
It's pink. It's magenta.
I know, to me it looks red.
Magenta, black and white.
If it looks red to you, what colour is that freaking pair of shoes, Brocky? Grey and green or whatever. You are so out of touch with us young people.
You need to stop smoking drugs before you come onto the show, dude.
Right, well, we are about to start.
Intolerable.
We are.
As get away from the warm-up lap. As Brendan Ross, he's nabbed pole position for race 2. As we might want to tap back to the stream from the Rookie Cup graphic there. Brendan Ross.
Got Luke in second. Matt Devine pipped at the end. Well, both Luke and Matt pipped at the end by Brendan Ross. We got Topher in fourth. Scott Nolan improved massively in that session, and I think he'll be one to look out for in the race. I think we'll see him improve.
Yeah, he's only going to get stronger here in my opinion.
Yeah. And then we've got Cam Rutledge, who was looking good. Had a good, solid, clean race.
Hey, what about David Keane? Don't count out the fucking L driver. He's right between.
I thought you missed number 6 there, mate.
Jump straight past him.
Then Cam Rutledge in the 05. Gary Neville in the second 05 car, because you got 2 of them out there. Shane Witt.
Can't have enough.
Doing reasonably well in the 54. He'd be happy with his performances so far. Aussie in 10th. Alex Warrington 11th. Brian Walsh in 12th. Glenn Miles in 13th, Lewis Wedding in 14th. We lost a runner this race in some competition.
Yeah, Connor Dean, after he died in the first race, has been unable to make it back due to being, well, dead.
Oh, lucky for him, there is a funeral directly across the road from Sandown Raceway, so...
he's with us in spirit, and I'd just like to quickly dedicate this second race to the memory of Connor Dean. As we have a moment of silence for him.
A moment of silence for Connor Dean.
Completely and utterly unplanned there, but it was touching.
I'm sure he would appreciate it.
I think the most.
He doesn't give a shit.
I think the most important thing for this race, at least for Matt Devine anyway, is the start. I think if he gets stuck behind Luke for the first couple laps, we could see Brendan build a little bit of a gap, and that will give him the gap he needs to win the race. Because I'm not sure. Like, Luke has improved and set a really good qualifying time, but his times weren't quite there in race 1 to make me sort of believe that he'll keep up with Brendan.
Yeah, another one that will be worried about the start will be Topher. Topher, after his race 1 start, will be hoping to just get away nice, quickly and cleanly off the line and get through that first corner without dropping positions.
Yep. And looking at the grid, Brendan Ross is a long way back from his position. He's actually behind Luke on the grid.
Well, that's confidence for you. That's why he's my hero.
Waiting for the guys to get into their boxes properly at the moment, because
I think we're lined up properly now, Brocky.
Ready to go. There we go.
There we go.
Ready to go. Revs rise for race 2 of the Rookie Cup at Sandown. Brendan Ross got a perfect jump there. He's away.
Much better from Topher as well, guys. He's actually got away on the line. We're hoping to get through turn 1 a bit better.
On the race in turn 1, Brendan Ross has blue sky behind him. Luke slots in nicely to second.
Topher's looking to hang on around the outside turn 1 there and have a look, and he's going to go
nicely up the inside, and Matt Devine. They go side by side. Devine takes a lot of curve, but Chris wins out on that battle as Luke dives up the inside.
Oh,
makes side by side
Nose
contact.
to tail contact there with Luke and Topher, but it looks like they've all got through cleanly.
But it's disadvantaged Topher, and that's going to give Matt Devine that position back, although we could see a couple of cars side by side here. I have warned them to pull out of it if they're not completely side by side. I don't want to see any other incidents again down here.
Chris with the line into turn 6, pulls in. Beautiful driving by Matt Devine. Giving the racing room as Chris gets sideways.
Oh, it's a bit messy through there, but it doesn't look like anyone has actually had any
trouble. No incidents this time around.
And Matt Devine has dived in at Dandenong Road and got ahead of Topher. There's a great overtake.
That was a nice fantastic move from him there. That's a move worthy of the name Matt.
I would say that's a move of the day. That is the short shift move of the day by Matt Devine. As
Luke has run very wide there. He is now down in 4th place. He's only lost 2 spots there, so he has got out of that pretty well.
Gifted second place to Matt Devine.
So that's pretty much worked out just about perfectly for Matt Devine there. He's cleared those Luke in front of him, and he's fended off Topher, and he's now, got Brendan in his sights here. So he'll be looking to put that pressure back on Brendan now.
Yeah, the gap he has already taken 2 tenths out just in that first corner. So
Brendan ran a little bit wide through turn 1. Nicely done.
He's lost another 2 tenths again.
Brendan Ross has gone high in the curves.
Off the track.
That's that little awkward spot on the exit.
Gets a little bit of contact there.
A little bit of an interesting rejoin there by Brendan Ross. But you get caught on the wrong side of that curve, it does just pull you straight towards the wall. So Matt Devine has gone 4th to 1st in a matter of half a lap.
And I just look like I'm not meant to have a hero here, because first Luke was the hero, 5 seconds later Brendan Ross, and now he's just gone and broken my heart.
I think that Matt Devine is the one to go with, mate. He's the form driver of the night, although Topher finding plenty of speed coming into Dandy Road.
Topher he's closed that gap up this lap, Topher. I don't know if Matt Devine's made a slight mistake anywhere, or if Topher's just nailed it.
Absolutely, Topher's got the eyes on. Might have been that shot of ecstasy from the local Danny drug dealer, but he is coming back nicely.
He's got the speed dealers on for this, and he's looking
cool. And we've got down the back Scott Nolan around the outside coming out of the final turn. That was a interesting line, but it seemed to work for him here, and he's got a good shot of going around the outside.
Yeah, it looks like Rossi may have just got a bit better drive out of that last corner, but Nolan is just all over him at the moment, and Ross, if he wants to get back up, he's got to push.
Christopher Field is all over the back of Matt Devine here.
Christopher Field, you're my new hero.
Commentator's curse coming your way, Christopher Field.
Well, I'm sorry, Chris, but something bad is bound to happen in the next 5 laps.
Coming onto the back straight, can he get in the slipstream here and get a nice run coming into turn 6? Not quite close enough there. I don't think the Lancers produce enough drag for him to get a decent tow.
Well, you need top speed to have drag first.
We've got Aussie on the back straight. He's trying to get into the slipstream and have a look through on Warrington into turn 6 or 7 or into the S's, whatever you want to call it.
We have a race on as Christopher shoves his nose up the inside of Danny Road. Does he run wide? Yes, he does.
Brendan Ross has gone off again, so he's dropped down to 8th place now.
So Rossi,
This is just the worst day of my life watching this happen to my hero.
Brendan Ross falling victim of the commentator's curse.
The ultimate,
courtesy
it is
of
the
LG.
scruff curse. He's been cursed.
We have a
Well,
hell of a
your
race on
name
for
is
first here at
Wedding.
the moment, guys. With these two are ebbing and flowing. They have strengths and weaknesses in different parts of the track, and as a result, we're seeing a nice ring-a-ding-ding battle at the moment.
And Cam Rutledge is
Rutledge in the pits.
playing the strategy game here, going to whack some new tyres on, get out of that battle pack, and hopefully get some good clean running for him.
Yeah,
So
it's
he-
intelligent move there.
Rutledge with that strategy has just got his balls and slapped him down on the table and gone, make some of this. Nether, if you're watching, you can continue to shake your head.
Yeah, and Evan's just thrown up in his cup of tea due to the comedy stylings of Matt LG Williams.
I bet he does drink tea, so...
Chris got a nice run onto the back straight here. He's getting a little bit closer by midpoint. If he can get alongside.
No, he's not close enough. He's still a car length behind, and just not close enough. His best bet is to set it up through this chicane. Although he's
Shows
going to
Divine
give him
the
a tap.
nose.
Oh, he's giving him
Oh,
a
Divine
tap
goes
there.
sideways. Topher's sideways. Topher's in the wall.
Gopher's crashed here, guys. He's out of this race.
No, he's hit the right barrier. He's hit the right barrier, and Scott Nolan has moved up in front of Luke, and he's now in second.
Nolan into second. Topher, it's beautiful. A little bit more than he can chew there. Had to be maybe a little bit more
Topher
patient.
hasn't
Had
back-
pace.
Topher has hit the right barrier. He certainly hasn't gone that badly in the end.
So we're going to jump onto the short shift replay for this one.
As he gets completely sideways through the last corner and just goes off the track just a little bit. Topher.
And we've got Gary Neville entering the pit lane. So another one playing the strategy game here.
And we also have Brendan Ross in the pits up his absolutely appalling and heartbreaking start.
So
He'd
we're
be
on
very frustrated.
short shift nose cam for the replay at the moment. We'll just see what Topher does. Oh, just breaking a little bit late going in. He did make slight contact there with the Matt Devine car as well. And you're right, hit the softer of the two barriers. It's actually
Just
not a bad
watching Cam
catch.
Rutledge. Just watching Cam Rutledge at the moment as a plane down, so it'll be interesting to see what relation to the guys who pitted.
Gary Neville's just started to move now. And
We've got Rutledge on the straight now, so it looks like he will get back to Neville and Ross.
Pick Rutledge up as Rutledge getting the advantage of clear track. This isn't going to be as simple as it looks like, although nicely done.
That did look pretty simple there, Brock. I'm not sure what you're watching.
And Scott Nolan is setting the pace at the moment. He is 5/10 up on Matt Devine on this lap, so he's got the
Yeah, on the previous lap, he was 6.5 tenths faster than Devine.
and that was despite being obviously held up with Topher going off the track. So he's looking to reel that gap in.
Nolan
he's
getting
very
on top of his
potentially-
steering issues that he had in race 1 and showing what the iRacing boys can do.
He's very
Sets
potentially
fastest
turning
lap with a
into another.
125.8. That's the fastest lap we had in race 1 and race 2, I think, guys.
I mean, that's 8 tenths quicker than Devine, and he is definitely looking like a smug twat, just like the team. Love you, Hobo. We've got a yellow flag on track, guys, coming through the S's as Gary Neville has gone flying off.
Ryan Walsh has
blown his engine.
I don't know if he's.
Gary Neville's just rejoining. He hasn't lost a position. Looks like Walsh has blown his engine because there is a fair bit of smoke coming out.
There
of
is
that car.
smoke, but I don't know if he's maybe clipped the barrier and done it, or done it just on downshifts.
It's still an engine that doesn't work. That's pretty blown to me. He's blown that chance, you know what I mean?
True that.
Fucking hell, I'm getting off broadcast after that joke.
And David Keane on that last lap and Luke were also faster than Matt Devine, so
Scott Nolan was a second up on his fastest lap. Oh, sorry, a second up on Matt Devine coming through sector 2 there as Matt Devine locks up in turn 13.
Where are you getting the O from in Devine? Exactly, you got nothing.
Scott Nolan coming to Peter Brock straight will pick up Matt Devine.
Oh, but
See if the gap has closed at all.
There's another 4/10 on him on that lap. And even Luke pulled back a 10th on Divine. So the front, the previous two, you know, second and third at the moment are sort of slowly catching up onto the back of
David Keane
Divine.
was, in 4th place, was also 2 seconds up on Luke, so he's setting a good time as well, but he's a fair way.
It's a bit
No,
more.
he's not, he's right behind him. Oh, we've got someone going completely sideways there, but he's alright. It's just making a watch.
Bit of a better battle this time around in race 2. Seems to be the case with the Rookie Cups. They pull out the stops in race 2.
Let's see a car into the freaking crowd, boys.
Might be a bit difficult around here though, I think.
Scotty Nolan sets a personal best for Sector 1. 32.202.
Oh, he's sideways into the S's there, but he's got it back together quite nicely.
He's 2/10 faster than Divine again in that middle sector. He's closing that down. That gap down.
Luke has just run wide coming into turn whatever it is, and he's lost the position to David Keane, unless he was already behind David Keane.
He wasn't, he has lost position there, and Luke and David Keane looking to pit on this lap. Their pit crews are ready. Keane enters, he was a bit quick there, he might get a penalty for that.
Matt Divine sets his fastest lap with a 1:26. Oh no, it wasn't, sorry, I apologise. 1:26.7, I'm talking crap,
Yes.
I do apologise.
Yeah, half a second faster again with Scott Nolan on the previous lap, so he's
1:26.2,
just...
so Scotty Nolan is dragging him in.
Yeah, he's just eating this gap right up.
And he's
like a teenager smoking pot. He is just eating and eating and eating.
Come on,
Think of a worse one than that.
Scott Nolan's pit crew are ready for him, so he's looking to pit this lap, while Divine, he's looking to go again. He's coming up to traffic too.
Lap 8 of 15, so cutting this race completely in half. David Keane gets a drive-through penalty.
And there it is, I called it. He did come in a bit hot, and that's cost him. That's a very big penalty around this track.
Absolutely.
David Keane, I know for a fact, watches these back, so I just would like to say now, you're an idiot.
So Scotty Nolan coming out of Dandenong Road, looking to pit this lap for fresh rubber. Can he get the undercut? Undercut has worked a couple of times in race 1, and with the way he's
Nolan is slower than Devine on this lap for the first 2 sectors, but
they're both pitting on the same lap here.
So Devuin and Nolan pit together.
Oh God, just pronounce it the same way twice in a row. Thank you.
We'll keep an eye on the pit stop. Well, I'm not too sure there's going to be too much difference between these robotic pit crews.
An Aussie will move up to 2nd place. No, he'll take the lead, I should say. David Keane's run off the road and he's had a shocker since the pit stop.
Shane Witt also in the pits. So pick up Luke and David Keane in the middle of the battle, 6 and 7.
So Matt Devine.
This battle isn't going to last with David Keane having that penalty, which he's taking now.
Keane pits now.
It seemed to be a long stop there for Scott Nolan. He might have changed all tyres there.
That could be the disadvantage of
it's not my fault this time.
Not knowing how to use automobile
He was.
Oh, Glenn Miles has just gone around through the S.
Alex
perfectly fine, but he has spun, and he's now trying to go the wrong way, so that would be a disqualification for him.
And Alex Warrington will be very frustrated being in a good position.
I'm sorry, Glenn Miles went the wrong way, realised, turned off the track into to get the wrong way. That is an absolute piss.
And well, Alex Warrington in a good position as unfortunately got a drive-through penalty for, I'm going to guess, once again, speeding in the pit lane. That entry catching a lot of people out today.
Brandon Ross is all over the back. Cam Rutledge here coming up the back straight.
And Aussie's into the pits now for first place, so he...
Scotty Nolan actually lost a spot to Luke in the
and he's gone around. He's gone around. He's avoided the barrier, so not been a good lap for him.
Oh, Cam Rutledge with a massive crash in the background there coming into the SS. Sorry,
Cam Rutledge is absolutely painted himself against the wall at turn 6.
Rutledge will at least have broken his neck into about 14 different
Oh, there's another car
We now
off.
have
There's
someone
David
else
Keane.
on
He's
it.
got
David
another
Keane.
incident, and there's
David Keane goes off in
Topher's
sympathy.
Just
And
avoided it.
Topher gets by the skin of his teeth.
Again, through the same section of track, Topher will be going through there on the subsequent laps, just with the absolute peak of pucker.
So it looks like Divine now, he's got this race sewn up after the pit stop.
Calamitous situation.
And Luke has found himself in second place after it's all shaken out here. Aussie's been another big winner, he's now up to 5th.
You'd imagine Luke would be pretty happy with that result after getting having an accident turn 6 race 1.
Aussie has Brendan Ross all over the back of him as they come on the back straight, and that would be an interesting battle in the closing stages of this race.
So we have 5 laps left. Matt Devane.
He's got a very good run here, Ross. He's got a very good run, but he's decided not to go for it. Obviously listening to the race director not to try anything silly up the top of the hill.
Race director, my arms. I thought that was worth a bit of a laugh. Come on, guys.
So we pick up the battle between Ross and Aussie. Gary Neville with his nose in the back of this as well. Not too sure he has the pace of the two in front of him, but
Gary, whenever he has done well in this series, we haven't really noticed him during the race, but he does just keep his nose out of it and just gets a nice clean race in. And once again, he is up there in 7th place, and it is looking like this result.
solid
And Ross will be looking to have a go in a turn 1. He's got a good run on Aussie.
As we got Warrington in the pits, guys, he's just coming out now, I think.
Warrington had a drive-through for pit lane speeding. As Ross takes the move into
Aussie
turn
on
1.
the grass, got a bit sideways, but no dramas there.
And nicely done, boys. That's exactly what we speak about knowing when to give up a corner, and that was well done by Aussie.
That drive in there from both of them is why we do have this series. It just helps them develop those little things of knowing when they can defend and when to just let them go.
Shane Witt with a drive-through penalty. And Ross back up into 4th though, guys. After setting pole, he's climbing his way back.
He's my hero. Again.
Currently a couple of seconds. That's the technical
3.2 seconds behind Scott Oden.
The technical term.
Well, Ross will be, as
he runs a bit wide there, but he hasn't lost too much.
He has been a bit quicker than Nolan over the past couple of laps, so he'll be looking to close that down and at least get a podium position back.
Yeah, Rossi looks like he's just struggling with consistency, and that is another one of the reasons we do have this series. It's the slower car. Once you do get your head around it, it is easier to do the same lap time repeatedly and just keep banging them in and see what happens.
I think this car as well, around this track, it's not easy to be consistent. I found with around the first track we went to, I can't remember the name, the Brazilian track. Ibarra,
oh,
yeah.
Ross runs massively
Which
wide
wasn't
through
in
turn
Brazil. Where was it? Where was Ibarra?
Peru, on South America.
Czechoslovakia.
That's Europe, mate.
Yeah, they're the same thing. They all talk funny.
But either way, these cars with fast-flowing corners are a little bit easier to drive than sort of these more short, sharper ones that you get around this place. And then you mix that.
The suspension doesn't really seem to want to help you through the slower corners, does it? They just want to fly.
It's too soft. As we see Nolan, he spun it around again.
And that will be a rear wing missing for sure. Yeah, that rear wing is gone.
Obviously did not like the look of it on the back of his car and decided to mod it.
Well, it's got such a long straight here, you may as well drop it.
That looks like it's cramping quite badly as well, guys, as it comes out of Daniel.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Scott Nolan has crabs.
So he's turned his car into a drift car and tries to work it that way.
I think he's got a puncture. I don't think that's suspension damage. I think because the way the front end of the car is sort of bobbing up in the air like that.
Yeah, he's gone off at the last corner again. He's got so he's now just absolutely
coming to himself now.
Yeah, the way that snapped like that, that's not a suspension problem. I believe that's a puncture. So
yeah, it does look like a puncture. As we pick up Topher in 6th at the moment.
Topher's
lost out a lot of time in the pits again, guys, by the looks of this.
Well, we've got Walsh, Miles and Rutledge have all not finished this race, and David Keane is sending me messages. Again, driving very irresponsibly on your phone, David, but he's just saying bugger, and I have no idea what's happened there.
Isn't there made it complete signs all over this track?
Yeah, it's... I mean, if you're drinking to drive, you're a bloody idiot. But David Keane, you are an idiot. Get off your phone. Think of other people.
And we've got Gary Neville now. He's the closing in a little bit on Aussie, so that's the closest battle on track, I believe.
Quite a good run for Aussie at the moment in 4th. Heeding the lessons of keeping it clean from driver mentor and coach Lewis Wedding. I think it's actually working for Aussie, mate. He could have been. He was a bit of a kamikaze at times, but he seems to have reined it in at the moment.
Well, he's not been the fastest that we've seen this weekend, but he's just not made mistakes. He's not ran into anybody, and he finds himself in 4th position. And he's even led a lap in this race, so he's done well so far.
Solid haul of points. We're on lap 14 of 15.
That said, though, he's got Gary Neville. He's a bit quicker than him.
And we've got Scott Nolan's just coming out of the pits now after taking on all that damage. He's down in 10th place and over a minute behind David Keane at 9th.
We've got David Keane battling it out with Shane Wood as well, down for 8th place at the moment.
Brendan Ross has made his way back up to the podium after an early spin, so nice recovery drive by Brendan Ross.
Well, you don't become my hero for nothing.
And set the second fastest lap of the race as well. He's the only other car in the 25s. Oh no, I do apologise. Chris Topher is on a 25.8 as well. So Scott Nolan and Chris Topher at 25.8. Brendan Ross at 25.9. Everyone else in the 26s.
Luke's last lap 29.2, so he obviously made a mistake somewhere. Yeah, Luke has had a very impressive race here in race 2 though. He qualified, I think he qualified second, did he guys?
Yeah, yes. Qualified on the front row.
Yeah, he's done very well to maintain that or get back up to that after all the incidents we have seen through this race, and he's doing very well. And I'm most impressed.
He has been looking to improve. He's asked me, I know, for a couple tips here and there. So if he can bring it home here, he'll be quite happy with second place.
Absolutely, he's doing well. As Matt Devine gets absolutely sideways through turn 6 on the final lap, trying to ruin his race and ruin a perfect weekend. But he's going to do pretty well as he's through the Dandenong Road turns, coming up to turns 12 and 13, looking for his second race win of the night and a perfect haul of points.
Luke's still attacking on this last lap. He's very safe. He's 5 seconds back to Brendan. Still to get those lap times in.
As he pulls 4th gear, looks towards the start finish line, and that's a race win for Matt Devine. Well done, 2 out of 2. And he'll be looking to hopefully finish the Rookie Cup Series and make a serious challenge to the championship, because that's a nice haul of points.
And Topher has gone around. Topher's gone around on the final lap. He's lost the bonnet.
Luke with a great second place there, followed by Brendan Ross into 3rd. He may have gone backwards, but mate, you are still my...
It's a really solid drive by Luke. Well done, mate. I don't think you've put a mark or a scratch on it, so really well-deserved podium. Brendan Ross with the comeback drive.
Yeah, Aussie and Gary Neville sort of had a fight all the way to
Aussie takes a well-deserved 4th. I reckon that's his highest position in AMS Australia as well.
Well, we've had Aussie's had a lot of fights in the 3 rounds. Done for the most part to get the results when he has been in the thick of it.
Topher 6, Alice Warrington in 7th. A little bit disappointed with the drive-through at the end of the day there. Shane Witt in 9th, coming through pit lane to serve a drive-through penalty.
And Brendan Ross summing up his race perfectly, I think. That's exactly what he thinks. by throwing it in the wall there. All went right in qualifying for him. He got the start away, and then it all fell apart for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, same with Scott Nolan. He was looking very good after qualifying. He just didn't have that.
Well, leading up to the pit stops, Nolan looked like he was going to be the guy to beat. Even though he's in second place, he was catching.
Yeah, he was absolutely. After the pit stops, it's just gone. It's an absolute shit.
Yeah, obviously, the pit stops, everything there went completely wrong. He must have put 4 tyres on instead of 2, and that cost him obviously time. And
Yes. Ugh.
Well done, everyone.
You don't really use the rears up with these cars, so there's not really much.
And you also want a bit of extra turn in them as well, because they do understeer a bit. So worn rear tyres and fresh new tyres, or front tyres, actually do help you a bit. So it would have cost him a little bit of time as well.
So we have David Keane, guys.
Oh, God help us all.
David, what happened in that race, buddy?
Oh, I just went into the pits and kind of got a little bit too happy exiting and got a speeding thing. And, then had to do a drive-through, and you kind of, after you make little mistakes like that, you kind of lose a little bit of interest and then start making mistakes, and yeah, it's just one thing after another.
Fair enough. It looked like you had some decent pace tonight, but not the consistency that you've had in the first couple of rounds, mate.
No, that top corner, I swear, you come into it, and as soon as you hit that bump, you just off you go if you don't have it right.
David, you've got a fucking L contract for the season 2 of the Super Series. Are you worried that your team bosses will think this utter crap after watching that?
No, I'm pretty happy with how they look at me, depending on how much they drink or not.
Word is that they do have a bottle of vodka, so just your best advice there is just to say yes.
Keep the supply up, you reckon?
Ideally. Who's going to grab some vodka? Thank you. David, you're now Brock. So, Brock, what did you think of Matt Naveen in that race?
Next Monday, won't it?
Hey, Aussie. You there, Aussie?
I don't think he is. I tried to contact him and...
Cool.
No, I don't think he's there.
Do you want to come in the commentary booth, Walshy?
Do I want to come in the commentary booth?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Come in. I'll introduce you. So come in, just stay quiet till I introduce you.
No, probably that corner. Maybe a little bit of turn 2 and 3, just trying to get through that little chicane bit. If you hit the ripple strip too much, yeah, you get quite high, and then you end up losing it quite a lot of time. A lot of the track's pretty smooth, but yeah, it's just a couple of spots you need to get spot on.
Oh yeah, fuck! I had the quickest car in that second race, and I just binned it. I don't know why my pit stop was so slow. It was 10 seconds slower. I only changed fronts. I don't know why. 24 seconds.
Alright.
With the bumps on the tracks, but then going into the S's off the back straight, you had to lose a lot of speed there. What would you say it was like with the Lancer?
Very, very, like a lot of understeer. You really have to slow down before you get to them. Not even sure which is the corner after the top of the hill.
That's all I've got, guys. Someone else ask him something.
Thanks for your time, Davo. We also have Brian Walsh. Walshy, how did you see that race, mate?
Oh, I saw a lot of it from the pit lane because I blew my engine on lap 2, I think. Downshift.
It's all those farts getting into the intake, mate. What are you doing? Get off the beans and your engine will last.
No, I was having a race with Shane, and what happens is he's faster than me, and he'd pass me, and then he'd make a mistake, and then I'd get in front of him again, and then he'd be right on my hammer again, and so I was obviously being a bit too defensive, and I went too fast in the corner and tried to engine brake instead of proper braking, and then it just went bam. And then I left my car on the side of the track for 3 laps, and I thought, oh, Chief might tell me off if someone goes off and hits it, so I went into the pits. But
yeah, that old Chief is a bit of a prick,
He's
isn't
a
he?
proper wanker,
Yeah.
that guy.
so I had the same problem as what David did. Keeney had, like he had one good result in one race and didn't do any good in the other, so it really kills you. Consistency is more.
Looked like you
What,
had a good race one, Walshy, until the last lap, mate. Do you want to talk us through what happened there in the turns 1 and 2?
Turns one in the first race.
Yeah, mate.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. That might go to the stewards if Gary wants to take it. I'm not really up with that, but he sort of dived on me, and then I was in two minds whether what to do in that one, and I probably should have backed out of it when I didn't back out of it, and I don't know whether I hit the side of him and he spun or something, but if I'm wrong there, I'll take responsibility for that, but I don't know. As the racers say, I'll have to look at the footage first.
Fair enough, mate. How are you enjoying the rookie series at the moment, mate?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the rookie series because you get to race like more people, and I don't get the blue flags all the time, so that's good in that thing,
Yep.
Missed my nemesis tonight. He wasn't there, but I don't know. But
I'm always here, Walshy.
not you,
Not that nemesis, I don't think, mate.
the one who races.
Oh,
But
dude,
anyway.
what are you talking about? I raced the shit out.
Yeah, so yeah, that was good. It's fun. New blokes come in all the time. Matt won 2 out of 2, didn't he?
Matt Devane, yeah, he did.
Yeah. So you're going to bump him up to Pro B?
We're not sure whether or not he'll stay in the Rookie Cup for the rest of the year.
Yeah, if he's up to Pro B, then
Yeah. Well.
I don't want that for a second.
Yeah, but it's good to get like tips. I watched Lewis do some laps, and you learn some stuff, and so yeah, it's good. It's good learning experience for learning how to do pit stops and all that sort of stuff. And they don't have too much power, so it's good in that way. But probably we have to all pick up our racecraft a bit. And I thought the first race was a bit scrappy, me included. So
Well, that's why we've got the Rookie Cup, mate. It's to help the guys that are down in the pro-am and unranked, just to sort of find their feet a bit more. And
yeah,
for anyone in there, it is good to be able to attack a bit more with the field a bit more even. So that's why we do run it, and hopefully we'll see guys like yourself be able to fight a bit further up in the future.
We are seeing guys improve.
The last thing I'll say about it is that also slower blokes like me, it keeps us interested in it, where if you get people coming in and they see they're no good, they'll just leave the group. So, so I find it good in that way. So, on to the next round, wherever that is. Where's the next round?
I have no idea. I haven't even looked.
This
You're not on Apex Rear Wing, mate. We're not that good.
Oh, yeah, I know where it is. It's Simmons Plains, isn't it?
Oh, fuck
Oh
off.
God, hope not.
All right.
It's in the fucking Reliant Rock.
No, we're at Northamptonshire next race.
All right. So Silverstone. Same as the... Isn't Super Series there this week?
It is, yes. Yep.
All right. Thanks for that, fellas, and
No
thanks
worries.
for a good night.
Thanks for your time, Walshy. Appreciate it.
And I hope I don't get a dirty message from Gary Neville.
We'll see.
I'll
Yeah.
send you one if he doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, if he protests, I'm not here nor there. It's up to you to decide.
Excellent. All right, Walshy.
All
Thanks for
right.
your time, mate.
So,
Cheers, Walshy.
bye.
And on that note, Scruff, I reckon we are calling it a day for the evening for the Rookie Cup Series 2.
I seem to have become much less broadcastable than we started off.
Yeah, I know. You've just slidden way
Have you
down
ever
here.
been broadcastable?
Oh, you can bet your ass I have, mate.
Your quality started at about a 7 and now it's about a 3. So
minus 7.
-7.
Credits to my personal sponsor, Smirnoff. Fantastic job tonight.
So I guess Lewis and Scruff, I'll get a final thought from both of you. What did you think of tonight's efforts in the rookies?
I think for the most part, we did see a lot of good racing. There was a lot of incidents as well that may need to be looked at going forwards, but for the most part, I think across the field it was a lot of good drives. Mistakes didn't affect anyone around them, but the few instances that did, we may need to have a look at. But it really was a good night of racing.
I agree.
Yeah, the same thing 3 times in that.
Will you stop talking over Lewis? Lewis, go.
Yeah,
Lewis, you go.
Yeah, I think obviously that first race was there was a couple tardy incidents that I think regardless of whether there's an incident report put in or not, probably need to be looked at and spoken to about to a couple people. But yeah, the racing was pretty good. Obviously, we've got another quick guy, Matt Devine, out there, and then we also saw, Luke, he sort of come of age a little bit, putting it on the front row and then getting a podium there. So once again, I think there's positives just about every week we have this series where we'll have obviously David Keane for a couple of weeks is up there, and then got Topher up there a couple of weeks, and then obviously got Luke, and then obviously we've got obviously new guys like Hobbo's friend and stuff. So
yeah, Scotty Nolan. We're seeing genuine improvement from some of the guys, so that's really encouraging. I think the biggest one for me so far, or for tonight, was Aussie. It was seeing a really mature, clean drive from Aussie, because he almost tries too hard sometimes in some of the races he's been in, and he's had an accident because of it. So the penny's kind of dropped to race clean, and then he'll build his speed from there, I think. So I'm really impressed with Aussie tonight. Personally.
Yeah, both he and Gary sort of had really clean races at the end there, and I think they were maybe those two and Matt Devine were the only ones that really finished without a dint on the panels of their cars in the second race. So they did fairly well. So, and I think for me, what was important, obviously being the race director, I gave him some directions after the first race where we had a couple DNFs going at turn 6 with people trying to overtake. I obviously had a word with them, and they listened. On the first lap, there was a couple, was 3 or 4 guys looking to overtake, and they all sort of pulled out of it. Where I think if I hadn't, nothing was said, I think they would have just gone in there all guns blazing, and we would have had 3 separate, we could have had 3 separate accidents in there. So they're listening, and to obviously the advice that they're being given, and hopefully it makes them smarter races in the future, and we see less accidents and obviously more finishes going forward.
Yeah, we're seeing them get faster as well.
That is something we have talked a lot about lately, Brock, you and me. Just trying to improve the general standard across the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
there are a couple people that are becoming a bit more known to have incidences, but across the field everyone is becoming a bit too aggressive lately, and that can be expected. But the rookie series is sort of based around just trying to teach people, all right, this is what's expected of you, this is what we want, and it looks for the most part like it is doing that job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you, me, and Lewis actually have spoken about the driving standards manual that we'll be getting out soon, and what we're putting in that. So that's going to serve as a series guideline for all of our drivers in every series, as well as specific guidelines around each series on what we expect. So yeah, I think, and we'll be basing penalties on what's in those guidelines. It's not going to be a judge of fact. Essentially, it's going to be what we see against the rule book moving forward. So yeah.
Oh, that is all we want, is just to have competitive races but clean races, because that's what we're all here, is to race without being taken out, anyone else out. It is just for fun, and we do understand that for anyone that is watching. If you do cop a penalty, we're not saying, you're driving like shit or whatever. We're saying just think of other people, because we are all here just because we love racing, and that's what we want to do.
That's it. On that note, and that final note, I think we'll call an end to this broadcast. Lewis, I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries. El Chief, you're a disgrace.
I am, but you love me anyway.
Oh, it's wearing thin. I am Brock Harvey, Brock Harvey 29 on Twitter. You've been with us for the round 3 of the Automobilist Australia Rookie Cup, brought to you by the Short Shift Podcast. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll be back next week with round 4 from Northamptonshire, and hopefully we'll see another couple of winners moving forward. Thank you.
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, just waiting.
And it's lights out and away we go. It's a great start from Sebastian Vettel. We come up the inside.